it's there. We're recording now.
Okay, cool. So for today's character question, um, I think it's important to acknowledge as we play where the characters are going, but also to acknowledge where they've been. The past is important, as is the future. So we're 9 sessions. This will be our 9th session, 9 sessions deep. So if your character could change anything that's happened over the past 8 sessions, what would they change and why?
Probably catching Mary set up the dynamite stick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Because then
And
then we, instead of this goose chase, then we could have hunted a demon. But
mm-hmm.
again, that's hindsight 2020. I like that we went and hunted down a demon. But if Ollie had to pick one thing he could change, go
Fair
ahead and
enough.
stop that.
Fair enough.
Mine would have been to both stun and push the dude from the last session instead of just stun.
Okay. Okay.
Would have fixed.
And why? What's the why on that?
Well, well, honestly, it probably wouldn't have fixed anything because I crit failed the. I believe I crit failed the stun. I can't remember. I know I.
Remember, this is a character question. This is not a player question. What would JP change, not what Austin change?
No, I think he would have changed the same thing because up until that point, JP's been relatively content with what he's done.
Okay.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe not stun and push. He just would have wanted to do something different in that scenario. Maybe
Okay.
lie better because the way it was described, like he tried stunning him, but the guy just kind of like looked at him funny as soon as he felt the aura. So maybe the stun wasn't the best option. Maybe he should have gone with something different.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Whitman, what would you change?
Mr. Whitman would have took a different approach when talking to the bartender and um
Fayetteville.
at the Muddy Rose,
Mm-hmm.
as that changed the course of our adventure and is gonna make the future that much harder because we are wanted.
This is fair. This is extraordinarily fair. I like all these answers. I like all these answers. Okay, so that being said, who would like to give me a previously on? I know that we typically do turns, but some of us had more things happen to us than others. So if you're more shoo-in to give a previously on, go for it. There's a hot chip for whoever does it.
You or me, Austin.
You go right ahead. I'm quickly trying to suss out Daniel's problem.
Alrighty. So, there we were, up in the mountains, in the middle of the woods. uh, so we were heading back to Mr. Henry Todd's little cabin, to where we were mostly sure that he was a fink of some kind. And we wanted to double check this by trying to pull him or push him outside of the ward around his cabin. And so the plan was push. Because Oliver and Mr. John H. Whitman couldn't enter, uh, the team was going to have JP walk inside, get close to him, and push him outside the ring. That's not how it went down. How it went down was we got up there. He was working on his roof. We said, hey, we didn't find no little old witch lady in the woods. Crazy. But we wanted to have lunch before we headed off. And he's like, sure, why not? Let me go grab that. He goes inside. We reestablish the plan. JP goes, yeah, we're just here for lunch. Wink. Cool. Love it. And Henry Todd comes back out and he hands over 2 bowls of soup. We take those. And he hands over that third one. And JP goes for the stun. That doesn't work. So Henry throws the rest of the soup in JP's face, and then combat kicks off. Combat order is a little rough that time, so he makes a break for it. I think Ollie tries to lasso him, but he cuts himself free. JP's the only one who can act inside the ring of trees. His backup plan: kneecap. And so we go to kneecap him. He he soaks that hit. Uh, he's out of range for Mr. John H. Whitman's uh, uh, lasso, and so he runs inside and slams the door. Now we're at a bit of a stalemate. So we leave this all up to Mr. JP because, again, the other two party members can't go inside. And JP goes Avatar The Last Airbender and knocks down the door and is greeted with a shotgun to the chest and almost blows his head off. And JP heals himself and gets back up. And I think he's shot at again and almost takes off JP's head one more time. And then runs into another room and slams the door. And now we're at even more of a stalemate. So Ollie starts circling the house trying to figure out, like, maybe there's a window we can shoot him through, because we're out of options. Doesn't appear to be any windows, and so we cut our losses. Mr. John H. Whitman throws a lantern on the house. It starts to catch fire. JP throws in the fireball with his avatar powers, and the house goes up in flames. Ollie decides that this is kind of gone to shit, so he's going to go talk to the little old lady back at the other side of the woods, tell her that how things went and that they're heading out. He apologizes for the mess and leaves the boy to kind of make sure the fire doesn't spread and just clean up. They contain the fire. Mr. John H. Whitman hears some screams that are cut short from inside the building. And a little bit before Ollie gets back, JP decides he has to go in. He's getting in there, dog. Mr. Whitman tries to stop him, but the avatar powers are too powerful. And so JP runs into the inferno, makes himself a little pocket with his airbending. Now he's just in an oven cooking. Miraculously manages to make it inside. He sees a charred corpse and can't get to it and is forced to leave the building before dying himself. So we all get back, and Whitman and Ollie just kind of shrug. This was not the day they had planned, and they go ahead and set up camp. They dig into their soup, and Whitman passes out because the soup was drugged. We get our confirmation that, hey, Henry Todd was probably not a great dude. JP, on the other hand, still has not given up, and so he tries to put out the fire as best he can until he just tuckers himself out. He's dealing with that heavy stuff, thinking that he's killed an innocent man. And then we cut to the next day. We all get saddled up on our unnamed horse and on Harold, the MVP of this campaign, and start heading down the mountain towards Springfield. We start heading out. We have a little montage. Everyone's doing okay, except for JP. He's struggling with some stuff. But we make camp, and Ollie goes up to Mr. John H. Whitman and says, hey, the bills come due. I want to hear a story. Mr. John H. Whitman goes, well, hell. So here's the story. I am a bit of a zombie myself, undead in some way. And the demon, the horse demon that we killed, the dappled lady, has effectively possessed him and has hitched a ride since our last run in. So that's weird. Ollie's concerned. But he seems to be in control for the time being. And yeah. We also learn that Mr. Johnny H. Whitman is having some curious dreams about something heading north. And that can't, come to bite us at all. That's not ominous. So we're good there. And then that night, Ollie has a little bit of some stomach pains and heads out after his watch and deals with some stuff, out and about. Uh, JP wakes up. He's a little bit concerned. Wakes up Whitman, who is very grumpy, and just says, "Hey, he probably went to go poop." And he's like, "I don't know. I think stuff might be up." He probably went to go poop. Maybe pee. Who knows? And by the time they go searching, Ollie comes back, said, "Hey, I just had to poop." Woman goes, "Yep, don't wake me up again," and rolls over. And now we're just one sleep away from Springfield.
I liked that 100% accurate retelling.
Thank you.
Yes, it was
Take that
perfect.
chip.
No biases anywhere. You will take your chip. All right. So,
All right, Nick. You still there?
Yeah.
All right. Go down to your bottom left corner where you see your little person's profile picture.
Yeah.
There's a little cog there for your personal settings. You're going to click on that. Under app settings, there is accessibility, and then there is also chat. Under chat, you must make sure that under the very first part where it says display images, videos, and locats, all of that other than with image descriptions needs to be checked on. Also the same for emojis, stickers, things like that. And then under accessibility, there is an area, I think it's just for stickers, but it's like automatically play GIFs when Discord is focused under reduced motion. There's a couple things like that deal with GIFs, because I've seen everything I've Googled is everything is based on person to person. There's no way to limit individuals from sending GIFs unless you completely mute them. But if you mute people, they're not even allowed to like speak or chat. So it's not anything that I can do other than that.
Well, when I get out of league, I'll check it out.
Yeah. So other words, it's a you problem.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's crazy that it used to work.
no, we're not doing this. Fucking not.
Said to me, bro.
I'll fucking kill you.
Oh God.
Anyway, so we'll get started. Civilization. It's a word that has come to mean more and less in the times of shadow that follow the breaking of the world. Civilization is not the bastion of hope and symbol of peace it once was, but it is a place of progress and relative safety compared to the world at large. That safety is, of course, subjective. The rich and powerful live above the law, using the poor and weak as human fuel for their fortunes, all while base ambition leads to more and more breaks in what folks consider to be just. Crime, exploitation, and misfortune fester like diseased water being corked in a gilded bottle. This story isn't new, but in times of darkness it may seem even crueler than the supernatural woes that befall those on the frontier. So, the strained band of haunted men, still limping from the trials of crossing the Ozarks, make their way into this first vestige of civilization they've seen in a month's time. With little knowledge of what to expect and only a few leads to guide them, they step into a place that is both more and less a refuge and a trap. So, you all have over the past week, you guys have gone down slope, and in your last day or two of travel, where you've been able to really move your horses, you in your last day of two of travel, you've probably moved 30, 40 miles. You all come into view of Springfield proper as you sort of cross out of sort of less heavy woods than you've been used to. It's not so tight and claustrophobic. There's gaps in between the trees to a degree, and you've been able to use roads so far more than you have been for a very, very long time. And as you sort of break this tree line, you see before you a good amount of field and farmland with small little uh, shacks and cottages dotting the areas around the city proper. You see little plumes of smoke coming out of all these little cottages. You see people working fields of various grains, corn, animals being shepherded by their owners, and then you see the city proper. This is a significantly bigger city than you guys have been to, well, since Memphis, really. The Memphis being the last real city you all have been in. Fayetteville was more or less just barely passing as a town. But Springfield, you see streets gridded across the way. You see multiple sets of rails from up here where you can see a train coming in. You see factories on certain sides of it with smoke pluming out of them. You see commerce as you see people coming down the roads to a degree, mostly from the east and north. You're the only folks coming from the south, and you certainly don't see anyone coming from the west. Um, why don't you all start with just getting a layout of the city? There are a few things that you'll see that may require a little bit of a keener eye. Can I get a notice check from everybody?
That's the only kind of check you'll get here.
You bite me.
I'm in awe of the big city. Haven't been in this for a while. I got two.
Yeah.
Just
Oh
checking
shit!
around.
Just taking it in.
I got 8.
I got a
8?
6.
Okay, 8 and 6. So, the 6, you take in the view of Springfield proper, this large town. You can kind of get an idea of the layout roughly from where you're standing. As you see the eastern side of town, where the railways come in from across the way, seem to be more an industrial side of town. That's where a large amount of the sort of plumage that you've seen as you walk in is coming from. The middle, from what you can see kind of from your vantage as you come over a little bit of a hill, appears to be just your standard sort of cityscape with shops and a few other things. Your own like personal preference, you do notice a church in the middle of town.
Okay.
This is also probably the first church you've seen that is not in disrepair since you have been traveling. The only other one you'd come across was a bit of a dilapidated one back in Harrison. Uh, and then the southern side appears to be residential. But the thing that is probably the most eye drawing in Springfield is the west, sort of southwest side of the town appears to be mostly burnt out. A solid, what would encompass maybe 8 blocks. Maybe more like 10, actually, from where you're standing. Maybe even more. You can't really tell. Appears to be a burnt ruin. Not recent, but a lot of skeletons of structures remain. Uh, and with that 8, Ollie, what you see other than all this, what you also take all of this in, you notice that there are armed people walking amongst the like soldiers. They're not wearing bandoliers and backpacks and things like that. But you do see a rough sort of uniform, and all seem to be carrying some sort of rifle. The uniform appears to be mostly green with a grayed, maybe a hawk or eagle, some sort of bird of prey, on the back as
Okay.
they walk to and fro.
Do they have the same type of rifles that we found in the basement that were manufactured by Van Zandt?
Actually, no, you would be intimately familiar with this rifle because you carry one. They all seem to be carrying like single shot Springfield 1800 model rifles. Cheap,
And of
easily
quality.
produced, and of high quality. Very durable. But that seems to be the general thing, but you do see others carrying other guns. You get the idea that maybe this is not a uniform type deal as you walk up. And as a person who has a bit of a military background yourself, you recognize that this is maybe more of a roughshod organization than it is a standardized line.
Okay.
That's what you all see as you approach. Mr. Whitman, the fields are nice. It's good to be on flat ground again, to be able to see more than a mile in any direction. And look at that city. Think of all the stuff in that city there is to do, all the amenities, maybe even a good night's rest, hot food. Woo wee! It's been a while. But that's what you all see as you approach. Coming from the south, obviously, as you've just left the Ozarks. Where are we headed?
I guess.
Because you do have a contact that you know of that Mary gave you, just as a reminder in case anyone's forgotten. She told you that she had a fellow who owed her a favor in Springfield, a man by the name of Frederick Jefferson. He owns a butcher shop on 5th Street, and she said that he would help you out if you needed a place to stay or anything like that. She described him as a bit of a fence.
Okay.
All right, boys. Before we sit in, let's get our names straight here.
Arch an eyebrow. What is your name?
Yeah.
Well, while you chew on that, we've already decided ours. Kind of look at JP. Just from here on out, just call me Edmund Buck. All right.
Edmund
JP?
Buck.
Sounds good. And remember, I'm Peter Johnson.
Okay,
He's a
I forget
genius.
it.
He's a madman. No one would ever see it coming.
Not I.
All eyes turned to Mr. Whitman, including Harold.
I guess call me Willie. I think I had a great grandfather or something like that. It'd be simple.
Willie. Last name?
Willie Jones.
Willie Jones. Speaking of names, just pretend ones, I realized this the other day, and I'm going to put you a bit on the spot, Austin. You have the oldest horse here, the one that has literally lasted the longest, but he is not a star like Harold. Do you have a name for your horse?
Nope.
Nice.
He's just a good boy.
Ooh,
I don't name things when I think they're gonna die quickly.
Fair.
He hasn't.
But he still
Bubba,
might.
Name this horse.
It's gonna be Bubba.
Hell yeah.
Its name.
Fantastic.
That's ironic considering what we were thinking about my guest character being.
You are now the horse. Congratulations.
That is
Stars align.
no, this is not a thing. Bubba's not playing a donkey.
He's not playing it. The horse was already named Bubba.
We'll circle back to that at a later time, I guess. So, Ed, Peter, and Willie, what's the play? You got a big city stretch ahead of you, and frankly, I'm trying to think. I don't think Mr. Whitman has much of a shot of having been to Springfield before. If either of you two wants to roll for your time traveling, if you've been to Springfield, you can. I'd say maybe a little easier for JP, since he's done a little bit more traveling, and his traveling's been more localized to the eastern side of the country.
And I'm gonna say JP probably wasn't, because when we first learned of Van Zant in Springfield, he seemed unknowledgeable of the place as a whole.
Okay. What about you, Oliver? You think you've ever been here? Well, I mean, it's going to be a roll for you. Just kind of a luck
I'll
roll to
for
see if
it.
you got.
Sure,
Yeah,
why
sure.
not?
I'm gonna say for you the DC's 8. That seems fair, and D6 for luck. So you're gonna have to bust on this one. But I could have chose a better word than bust. But
I'll
Nope,
bust for
you
you.
said it. You said it.
yeah,
Oh,
Bust
God.
away.
I've busted all over it. I have exactly an 8.
okay, an 8. With exactly an 8, you've passed through here before. Which makes sense. Heading east across the Mississippi, there are only a few places that are large cities that are. The amount of large cities west of the Mississippi that are in control of one of the 3 countries that occupies the eastern portion of the U.S. is very few. So the odds of someone who came from out west passing through one of these focal points is pretty high. You spent a few nights here. You have maybe a little bit better of an idea of the layout. So let's just say for any sort of rolls you have to make for trying to find stuff in the city, go ahead and give yourself a +2.
Sweet.
Okay. But yeah, with that idea of the layout, you know that the Fifth Street. You don't know where the Fifth Street Butcher is, but you know Fifth Street is kind of on the. It's a little past the center of town, heading north, almost at the other side. And since you guys couldn't see it from here, I'll say since you've been here, you know the northern side of town is a lot more of the administrative center, uh, courthouse, the mayor's mansion, and then also the more wealthy part of town is on the northern side.
Okay. All right. And I'll relay all that, as we're getting closer. Yeah, as we get closer, Ollie Edmund Buck he'll probably put on his trench coat and he'll
Mhm.
hook his sword probably more like onto the one of the saddles to try and keep it a little bit more out of eye shot.
Okay. And this is also another thing I'm going to ask JP because I had thought about this and I wasn't sure. The head of the creature you all killed in the Deadwood region of the Ozarks, it has decayed a significant amount. Have you there are a number of things you can know. Have you done anything to either stop it, like fully burnt it out, or cleaned it up, or ditched it, or have you done anything with that, or are you just carrying a stinking head on your saddle?
I'm gonna say JP burned it to where there's just the skull left.
Okay, that is 100% fair because a month of decay, and since you were moving, so it never really got to be stripped, probably pretty nasty. So I'd say that's a good call.
Mm-hmm.
Smells
But
good.
okay, that's good to know. So sorry for interrupting, but that just occurred to me.
There you go. So I think our plan is, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably go try to find this fence, Mr. Butcherman, first, so we
Mhm.
can go ahead and like establish where we're staying, set up the horses, and then after that we can fan out and explore. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
Willie?
Really?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. You guys start heading north into town. You pass through. You see more of these folks in green coats with the hawk on the back. Now you're closer, you can tell this is probably a hawk. It lacks some of the features of an eagle. It just seems less imposing. But you all push into the town. Uh, there's a bit of bustle as you're walking in, because since the southern side would be more of the residential side. You're passing, you see people chatting on the street, talking, uh, wagons moving through. You see families going about their business, people seemingly heading to work. It's kind of early. I'd say it's probably about 9 a.m. since you guys are pretty fresh off your rest getting here. And you also see a good amount of people going north into town as well, sort of chattering amongst themselves about something happening.
What are they talking about? What they chit-chatting?
I'm not gonna say this is more of a passive notice check. Uh, but you see this younger woman talking to a younger man. I still can't believe she did it, but if they say she did, I suppose it's right what's happening to her. Well, I can't help but agree, but I just never would have seen it coming. Well, strange times, I suppose. But at least we get a show out of it. And they just keep walking.
We're gonna see some unchill shit today.
Mhm. You all sort of follow this flow of traffic into what appears to be a town square. And in the town squares, you see a gallows is set, and you see a woman standing at the gallows with a rope around her neck, um, clapped in manacles, and a man wearing a star, and then another man who seems to be wearing like that typical 1800s like official judge outfit, like he's put his wig on for the occasion. Um, standing up there, and you hear him reading out her name as everyone kind of saddles in. He steps forward. For the crime of capital murder, the town of Springfield sentences you, Isabel. Or no, her name's not Isabel. It's the wrong one. Joanne. Joanne Puckett to death. You'll be hanged by the neck until dead. Do you have any last words? She doesn't say anything. She just kind of stiffens her lip and sort of grimaces at the crowd a little bit. Before the sheriff just sort of looks at another man, seemingly a deputy next to her, and nods his head before he pulls a lever and her feet fall out from under her as the rope tightens and she falls and snaps, flailing just a little bit as she fights for maybe a minute or so before she seems to pass. A lot of the town gathered around. Not like a raucous, like cut her head off kind of day, but pretty solemn, just everyone watches. And by the time she stops kicking, the sheriff nods, walks over, shakes the judge's hand, and then, yeah, pretty much shakes the judge's hand, looks to his deputy, nods him off as people start going away, and you see a man in a dark suit with sort of like a smaller, like bowler cap walking up, checking her out from below, uh, before motioning for her to be let down. And some assistants start helping out. You can tell he's the undertaker of the town.
Or what happened here?
You said that out loud?
Yeah.
A fella standing next to you just kind of turns. She killed her husband. Or at least that's what they say. But I mean, from what I can tell, it was a pretty open and shut kind of thing. But it's a little wild. I wouldn't have expected it from her.
Did they say what like did she give any reasons? Like
Not that we know of. But then again, it's not really the judge or the sheriff's obligation to share it all with us, what she said. But the speed at which this trial moved, I'd say it was pretty compelling.
Hey, who was her husband?
Oh, her husband? Well, he kind of takes his hat off a little bit once starts talking a little more about that. Old Vinny Puckett. eh, He was a good man. He was a cobbler up around here. They seemed like a happy bunch, or at least they seemed it, I suppose. Suppose if they actually were, she probably wouldn't have killed him.
I take off my hat. Sir, Mr. Willie Jones.
I was so ready to be like Mr. John H. Whitman.
There's a John H. Whitman.
You know, inspiration for not saying it.
These times we live in are quite peculiar.
I was getting yelled at by a bumpkin. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
It's okay, we hear it.
Times. The times we live in are peculiar.
Well, that they are. But I suppose I'm not ever gonna get used to stuff like this. I mean, we all seen hangings before, but it typically seems like the person who was getting hanged deserved it. I don't know. It seems a bit out of character, but a lot's out of character nowadays.
Well,
I take it you boys aren't from around here? He turns and looks at you all.
just passing through.
Well, it's a nice town, regardless of what you just saw. I promise that's an outlier. We don't hang people every day or anything like that, or at least we haven't for a while. But do yourself a favor. Stick around a little bit. Go visit some of our restaurants. We got some pretty good ones around here.
You got a some kind of hunting lodge that they can sell skins and whatnot. kind of turn, throw the bow on my back, my hunter, you see, and wonder if I can sell some pelts and buy some from my adventure.
Well, I don't really know anything about a lodge other than recreationally, but we got a few leather workers here. Probably buy it off of you. Maybe even some tailors if it's high enough quality stuff, like if you've got fox or beaver or something like that.
All right, you point me to the direction.
He just kind of points towards the like northern part of the middle. If you go about 3 streets forward and then one over, I know of at least one tailor shop.
All right, I kind of you.
Of course. Have a good day.
Have a good one, sir.
He nods to you two or to you three, and you guys just kind of keep on trotting forward. Give me a notice check, all of you.
4.
4,
7.
7,
17.
17. Holy shit. That is a large check. So, as you guys sort of walk forward, you notice it, Mr. Whitman, but Ollie also notices it and makes a very like specific clock as it goes by. On the square, you do see a sheriff station, as per the usual. The outside, you do see sort of a notice board situation, and Oliver, with that ridiculous check, you just got a feeling about some of the pictures you see over there. But you notice that.
1, 2, or 3.
3.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Okay.
And sort of as you guys are passing this, I'm going to need 2 rolls from each of you. The first roll I'm going to need is a luck check, a d6. The DC is different for each of you.
What is a luck check?
Just roll a d6, no wild die. Tell me what you get. The DC for JP is I'm going to say a 4. For Ollie, no. For JP, it's a 6. For Ollie, it's a 4. For Mr. Whitman, it's a 10.
Why am I 10?
Because if you could have a blimp with your face on it, you would.
But you see, I've been through a lot. Been shot, been stabbed. I ain't got luck. I got 1.
Okay. You got a 1. Bad luck.
I got a 5.
Bad luck.
I got a 9.
Good luck.
Does crit fail matter in this situation?
Not in luck. Luck is just a determination. The 1 is crit fail enough. Okay. So now the second roll. The first roll was a luck check. It was for accuracy of description.
That's really
The
funny.
second check is for skill of artist. So you guys are rolling for someone else. Add +2 to this, or no, not +2. Roll a d6 because that's their skill in this. Mr. Whitman, your DC is a 3. And you two, or Ollie, yours is a 6, and then JP, yours is a 4.
Since you said that you're rolling for someone else, I don't know if that influenced this or not. Probably because of the luck thing. I got a 14. It's probably gonna be bad.
How is this possible?
This could be bad.
Someone took a straight up picture.
Well, I rolled a 3.
3. Okay.
I got a 5.
5. Okay. So, this is one of those situations where you did not want to pass.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, JP, as you guys are walking past, you do see a bounty poster with the name John Peters on it. Well, actually, no, it just says JP because I don't believe you ever gave anyone your name as being John Peters.
I've only given the 2 people next to me.
So it just says JP with like a rough drawing that could be you. That you feel like it plays up your red hair just a little too much. Like just as you're walking by, you wouldn't guess it was you looking at it.
Gotcha.
Oliver, as you're walking by, you see yourself as well. The description's a little off, but the thing that really is accurate is what you were wearing, because it does in fact stand out. Um, and it does have a passing semblance to you, though you think you could get away with it. Mr. Whitman. It's baffling how accurate it is with how quickly it appears this bounty poster is drawn. Like down to minute details of your face. It is bafflingly well drawn. Mr. John H. Whitman. Full name. A description. It even lists the likelihood that you were a Confederate soldier, which is likely to increase zeal in this part of the world. A
Oh,
lot of
no.
detail on it. Under your names, you see amounts. JP and Ollie, $850.
Ooh.
Mr. Whitman, $1,200.
Ooh, no.
We should turn in Mr. John H. Whitman. I say this
You
every time
all-
I hear a bounty, but we should really do it this time.
You all are wanted for count of kidnapping, several counts of murder, a count of arson, several counts of vandalisms, assaults, disturbing the peace, what were and a litany of other smaller crimes, but those are the big ones.
And let me guess, those are all from Fayetteville.
Literally every single one is from Fayetteville.
Yeah.
You even take note. Fayetteville is a Confederate city, and you guys are now in the U.S. Yours are the only bounties that are Confederate here. Like the only bounties that are marked as like to be delivered south of the border.
Mm.
So you guys have made it up here, and you also note that you guys have some of the higher bounties on here. As a matter of fact, Mr. Whitman has the highest bounty on here.
Oh, no.
As it is noted that you all are particularly dangerous, and a number of the murders were lawmen.
Boys, I think we need to get Willie out of public eye.
Shoot, that's a pretty picture right there. Oh, they even got my scratches right there
Oh,
on the cheek.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's a man named John H. Whitman, Willie. You look nothing like that man. As I start kind of like nudging him away, like
Pushing him along.
let's get out of here.
Yep.
Maybe
Listen,
maybe tonight
We
someone
got a
can
date
do
on
some.
5th Street.
Yeah, maybe tonight someone can come back and like get rid of those.
Man, that was an extraordinarily poor combination of rolls on
That
your
was
part
really
there,
bad.
Daniel. You already had the worst chances out of anybody, but they just got so much better. Yeah. You guys push north through the town. This place seems nice enough. As far as, by the standards of what a town is in today's age of sort of strife and stuff, there's not a lot of like squalor in the streets. While a lot of the buildings are boarded up, not all of them are. There's a good amount of people here. Not all of them seem poor. Very few seem to be hungry or starving. You do still see people on the side of the road that appear to be begging, things like that. But mostly a mostly functional town, which is saying something out here. As you guys sort of push north into the sort of upper middle portion of this town, and you see a sign with a pig with an axe in its head
Mm,
on 5th Street, as you see a butcher.
let's get in there.
Okay.
Is there a place to hitch up the horses?
There are a few places to hitch up horses, but you also suspect, given the fact that this is a nicer town, like a lot of these roads are actually paved in like cobble, that they're not meant to stay there for long.
Yeah.
They're meant for you to be there long enough for you to do your business.
I will hop down and head on in.
Okay.
Tie off Bubba and put him right there.
Time off, head in.
Yep. You guys open the door to the sound of like a sort of brass bell on top of the door rings as you step into a building. On the walls you see strung up salted meat that has been cured and has been dried and is hanging. You see some fresher cuts on a table in front of you, and you see a man standing behind the counter, sort of hacking away at what looks to be like a leg of a goat. Uh, a black guy with sort of pulled back hair and a well kept beard, very well muscled, wearing a butcher's bib over the front of his clothes, which seem to be nice-ish. Not incredible, but for someone who's going to be working with blood and guts all day, a respectable amount of dressed up. As he stands behind there cutting at some goat, when the bell rings, he turns around. What can I do y'all for? And he turns around and sort of plants the cleaver into a cutting board before resting his arms on the counter and looking over. I got a special today on a hog we killed's about to go old, but it still eat well if you cook it today.
Maybe. But first, we're actually looking for a man named Frederick Jefferson.
You found him. And he sort of leans back.
Hi, Miss Mary Walker is a friend of ours. She actually told us to come say hello since we were passing through.
He sort of gets this like flat, long line of a mouth drawn across him.
Kind
What
of
do
give
you
him a
want?
shoulder shrug.
What do you want?
Well, we helped her out, and she said she owed us a favor, and she told us that you owed her a favor, and you could make it even. We just need a place to stay while we're in town.
How long you gonna be?
Not entirely sure. Uh, say a week.
All right. I can put you up for a week, but after that, me and that harpy of a woman are square.
That's what she
I don't.
told us. After this, you two are square.
I'll be happy to be square. She's a bit heavy-handed sometimes, and frankly, she scares me a little bit. So, sure,
You're
you can
telling me.
stay here. You can stay here for a while. It's not luxurious, but I got a back room. You can stay in there if you want to. I can get you some bedrolls, maybe a cot. One of you's probably gonna have to sleep on some boxes, but I can get blankets at least.
Hey, that sounds perfect by us. Would you happen to know of a place where we could stow our horses? We got two of them.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's a stable uh near the rail station. They probably I think they charge 15 cents a day. There's a farm that runs horses a little further out in the fields east of here. They'll they'll stable them for 5 cents, but they might be using them. So if you need to get it in a hurry, I might go to the stables instead.
Noted. All right. Wow.
Well, Ed, you and I could do that while Mr. Willie stays here.
Hold on, this is reasonable. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Give me a notice
Caught
check,
us.
everybody.
You caught us.
He got us.
We said we're
I'm
criminals, and we would need to use a criminal connection.
I'm the worst liar. I got a 4. I hadn't
Okay.
rolled above like 6 all night.
I got a 7.
Okay.
Carry this team, Chance.
So, what'd you get, Daniel?
5.
Yeah. Um, he hides it pretty well, but not well enough. He's looking at you all, and he's got that sort of flat like look on his face, like at least I'm done being in her pocket for a little bit. It's good to see. And then when he glances over Mr. Whitman, you see his eyes get kind of big for a second, and then he tries to hide it, and he goes back to talking.
Darn it.
But yeah, I owe Mary the favor. She got me out of a bit of a spot, so I'll do this for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you all know something. Just fresh off the top, I'm a discreet man. It's part of my job, part of what I do. So I'm not gonna say anything about y'all being here. I don't know you, you don't know me. But if trouble comes to my front door looking for you all, that means it got led here by you, either by your own word or by you messing up. And if someone comes here looking for you, and it's me or you, I'm gonna pick me. So be very clear about that. So tread carefully in town, because if it comes back to me, I'm not gonna protect you from that. That is not part of any deal I made with Mary. I'll put you up. You want to do a little business? We can do business. But I ain't gonna put my hide on the line for a bunch of strangers.
That's more than fair.
Yeah.
Turn to Whitman. We'll be sure. Look at JP to keep this subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Don't worry, Archer. If it comes down to us or you, I'll make the decision of us as well.
And that's why the bounty is so high.
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't take too kindly to those words you just spoke.
All right then. I go make up the room. And he just kind of like long eyes Mr. Whitman.
I was like, I just give Ollie
Follow him into the
the,
room.
I just give Ollie the look of like, we might be in trouble already.
Y'all go hitch up the horses. I follow him to the room.
Okay. Do you guys listen to Mr. Whitman? Do you follow through?
I'll turn to JP. Here. You go ahead, hitch up the horses. Keep them in town if we do need them. Do you need money?
No, I'll be alright. And he said it was to the east.
Yeah, both the stables are on the sort of railway, more or less, so that people getting off the train can buy horses, or people coming in that way can stable them, or the farm is a little further out west or east, but it is outside of the city. Like it's still an eye shot of the city, but it's a 15-minute walk out.
Oh, I haven't spent money in a minute. I am getting low on coffee. I need to go buy some more. But I'll just go. JP is gonna head to the stables by the railway just because it's closer. And now that he knows that the butcher knows, it might not be too hard for people to, and people are gonna notice Mr. Whitman. He thinks because it only took the butcher 2 seconds.
Yeah. Well, give me a common knowledge check here.
Okay.
And you know what? Actually, make this with a +4.
With the +4, that'll be a 12.
You spent a non-significant portion of your life moving through the country with criminal enterprise that was your family. And one thing's for sure, if you are in a town like this, all the players know each other. All the variables are aware of each other's existence. And Frederick is he's a variable. He's a fence. He has to be in the know of what's going on. He's aware if there's a big fish swimming into town, what they might look like.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that anyone would notice Mr. Whitman, because not everybody's going to spend time fixated on bounty posters.
Yeah.
Someone who lives in the criminal underworld needs to know about dangerous people's comings and goings.
Okay.
And it just so happens that Mr. Whitman is both the highest bounty there and infinitely the most recognizable.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, are you going to stable the horses for the full week that Oliver has suggested you might be there?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, so allow me to whip out my handy dandy calculator because math is hard. My calculator broke.
It's $1.05.
$1.05. Yes, correct. Yes.
I do numbers for a living.
So do I. But I use my handy dandy calculator. So yeah, $1.05 for each horse.
And there's
So
2 of them.
yep, $2.10.
Ready?
As you go stable up the horses. It's a nice enough stable, much bigger than any you've seen in a while. The stable you saw in Fayetteville was, maybe a dozen stalls. The one in Harrison was 5. This one's probably easily 40 stalls.
Okay. On the way walking there, JP is just gonna look around a little bit. Does he notice or see anything like labeled with Van Zant Industries near this side of town?
Mm? You can give me a notice check. Yeah, just a flat notice check.
Okay. 17.
17. Fuck. Yeah. At one point as you're walking down the street, you see
Oh,
that was Nick. You see a wagon rolling by that has a couple crates on it that's marked with a VZ. And you see that more than once. And at one point you're actually just kind of walking by and you look to your right just out of happenstance. And you see a person who has a sort of like wood burning heater on the outside of their house that seems to be heating some sort of like shack maybe for smoking or something like that, and the heater is marked with a VZ. And the more you look and the more you think about it, you've been like kind of away, you see more than a few things marked VC as you go. Most of them seem to be generalized things, almost all of them mechanical in some way. uh Stoves, uh, lantern lights, things of that nature. Stuff that require assembly and are typically made of metal.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
Well
you
then,
you do see that, and aside from just seeing everyday products, the fact you're seeing wagons every now and then moving by does like fully like confirm anything you if there was any doubt that there actually is some sort of station of Van Zandt Industries here. Like clearly there's wagons filled with their shit moving through town. Like
yo.
they have some sort of significant operation here, and they're
Okay.
not hiding it at all.
Gotcha. Okay. Well then, I'll just make my way back from after I send the horses or get the horses to the stable. I'll just go back to the butcher's.
Yeah, you get them tidied up. As you get them tidied up, you see a couple stable hands, a couple young fellas go out there and start brushing the horses, giving them oats, give them a couple apples. They get their horsey pampering
Mm.
as you're walking away. Back to the butcher shop. As Ollie sends JP on his way to stable the horses. Uh, Mr. Whitman walks behind the counter to follow Frederick back into the back of his shop.
Well, I can lend a hand on fixing our beds here.
Sure, if you want to, I suppose you could get first dibs that away. And he shows you the back room, and it's more of a storage room, really, but there is space. You see him like pull out like this cot from the back and set it up, and then a bedroll he kind of rolls out, and then he just kind of pulls some stuff off of a couple crates. Doesn't have to be one of your beds, but like I said, I can find a blanket. It'll be more comfortable on the ground, I reckon.
There's no need. I'll pull out my bedroll from my bag and place it.
Well, all right,
And they can take the cot and the other bedroll.
I can still get you blankets though. And
Yeah, do all that.
No, I'm gonna do it. Oh, that woman. And I'm not gonna let her hear that I half-assed it in any way and her try to weasel something else out of me.
The
And
only thing, the only payment I need. That's fine.
Alright. He goes to his back room. While he's gone, you guys have a moment to yourselves if you want to talk while he's out of earshot.
I thought you were going to put up the horses.
Well, I figured with your bounty be the most detailed, we should probably stick together on this one.
It'd be fine. I plan on going to that leather maker, getting some hide, and acting as a hunter or some of sorts, traveling through.
Well, maybe a change in clothes wouldn't hurt, or maybe a haircut and a shave.
Nah, I don't know about all that now. Taking a long while to grow all this hair out.
I'll be back before you know it.
I'm getting old. Grow back like I used to now.
Well, better for it to grow back patchy than not at all, and you'll be in the ground.
Now we done killed a demon.
Oh,
Ain't no sheriff's gonna do anything to me now.
this is a big town. Probably got a lot of deputies running around.
Got a lot of bullets, sir.
Well, still, we're gonna be careful here.
Yes, I know. I ain't the one you gotta be worrying about.
Well, that's probably true. But at least being recognized. That's what I'm worried about right now.
As you say that, you hear a little bit of a clatter behind you as Frederick walks back in with a couple blankets, or 3 blankets. Alright, here they are. They might smell a little bit. They haven't been used in a while, but they're warm. And they're mostly soft. If there's any part of them that's not soft, I just advise not thinking about it.
Thank you kindly.
Mm.
And after the store's closed, is there a back door we might?
Yeah. And he kind of looks out back. You just go down that hallway, take a left. There's a door on the right side.
Much obliged.
Does it not lock?
No, it locks. And it's locked right now. If you all want to be using it in and out any odd time of the night, you're going to have to let me know.
We'll be sure to say something if we leave.
Alright. Y'all got anything else y'all need from me? No, I'm going to make an assumption. Well, it's mostly an assumption. But if y'all have been in league with Miss Mary Walker to any degree, you may be men who travel in circles that most people don't. That being said, if y'all need something or need to get rid of something, I might be able to oblige, depending on what it is.
I'll keep that in mind. Now,
Alright.
we don't exactly run in the same circles. We accidentally became acquainted with each other. Let's put it that way.
Now, let me put it this way. If you know her and got a favor from her, you're in a circle different than anybody else's. I don't know which one it is, but I know it's not a normal man's. The specifics of that are up to you, but I know you ain't here to buy pork.
We also ain't here to cause trouble. Catch my drift.
I appreciate that.
We ain't
But
here. What you may have heard, what you may know, may not be what is truth.
now, for step one, I understand that I have a trustworthy face. I know you look at me and you think I could pour out my deepest, darkest secrets to this man. I could tell him anything I ever wanted and he would hold it near and dear to his heart for the rest of his life. Maybe that's true. But no amount of trust, I wouldn't go advertising what you just said to other people. Now, I know you. I imagine the fact that you brought it up means you know that I know you. Now, I ain't gonna be going after a payday, especially after somebody who's wanted for knocking off a whole deputy station. But that being said, there may be people in this town crazy enough to try that, which is why I said what I said. Don't bring them to my shop because I don't want to get shot. I don't want to get beat on, and I certainly don't want to get this place burned down. So, keep your trouble out of here, and we're fine.
We'll handle it. And we'll
We
keep
don't
the
Alright.
like
information in mind.
we don't like starting fires anyways. I give a little chuckle.
That's not what I heard, but to each their own. He kind of turns and walks out. Oh, also, if y'all want supper, have it ready like, I don't know, 5. It's not good. I just chop meat, I don't cook it. So,
I don't want
what?
any soup.
Yeah, Ollie will laugh at that one.
Noted. But, have it ready around 5 if you want it. I go to sleep about 9, 10 o'clock. If you come in after that, just knock. If I don't answer, knock harder. I'll wake up eventually and come let you in. And he goes back to his counter, and you hear the thud of a cleaver as he goes back to chopping a goat leg. And about 5 minutes later, JP walks back in the shop with a chiming of that bronze bell up top.
Mr.
His name
Jefferson. I almost said Fredrickson.
Mr. Fredrickson.
Mr. Jefferson.
Yes, my name is Jeff Fredrickson. How did you know?
You and I, because you and I have the same mannerisms.
Are you my dad?
Papa?
Papa. How you doing? I don't believe I got your name. Well, frankly, if you don't want to tell me, actually, you know what? It's better that you don't. I know your names anyway, but whatever you're going by, best I don't know that.
Sounds good.
Your
They
friends are
back
in the
there.
back.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
I'm just gonna walk past him and into the back room. Horses are taken care of. I took them to the stables and paid up for them for the week.
All right, good.
Also, noticed a lot of VZ logos on just about every mechanical thing you could think of all throughout town on my way over and back. And as well as some wagons. So they're definitely pretty well. Van Zant is all over town, pretty rampant, and they are at least carrying some form of goods to and
Well, we
from.
got a factory up in here, and that's why we're here, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Didn't see anywhere of a location over by the stables though, so it's not, to my knowledge, over there.
Well, this is how I see it. I think for the first day or so, we can go out and about in town. Because I think we can all agree we need a little bit of time to get our feet underneath us. Do any shopping you need to do, catch your breath. After that, we can spend a day or so trying to ask around town discreetly. Discreetly. So I don't want another shootout. Not yet. If it happens in a factory or somewhere, that's fine. But again, let's keep this under wraps.
Sounds good.
Alright.
Alrighty.
So you guys are fanning out, just kind of bop about the town.
Yep, sounds like it.
Any crew time that needs to happen, any downtime, I think we do that.
Right.
Sticking with Whitman.
Okay. So you two are rolling together. JP, are you sticking with the pack, or are you gonna go peruse this town on your lonesome?
JP may peruse the town over by the church.
Okay, sure. So if that's where you're going, let's start with you two. Where are you two going?
Uh, before all that, Ollie will leave his breastplate
Fair enough.
back at base.
Gotcha.
Uh, but yeah, lad, where do you need to go? Because I need to find a blacksmith of some kind, and then I need to find someone who sells guns and sell the extra shit we're carrying.
To like the leather maker or like animal fucking yeah, like the leather area.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Probably the workmanship quarter of the.
So you guys are basically just looking for a craftsman sort of district, which there kind of is one. It's kind of scattered around the town, but as Ollie's been here, you know that you're kind of in it. Like just by the fact of being in the butcher shop, this is the place where people who have a trade tend to ply their wares on the northern side of town, sort of between the the city proper, but closer to the more wealthy side of town, and then you know, just that's how the commerce flows. So you guys are kind of in it right now. But what are you looking for first?
We can do the leather worker first.
Do the leather worker first?
Yep.
Okay. Um, as you guys sort of walk around, yeah, let's see. What kind of check would this be? I don't want to say survival, but that kind of is what this is. Yeah, just give me a survival check for traversing the city, learning about it as you go. Remember, you have a +2 to this, Ollie, because of your pastime here.
I got a 9.
Okay.
I got a 4.
4. Okay. Mr. Whitman gets it with a raise. As you're walking by, you're pretty quick to clock a few places. Just in your immediate vicinity, you know, probably in the next like 4 or 5 blocks, sort of deal. Um, you do see a leather worker, uh, and a tailor not too far away from it. Um, the tailor appears to be a sort of smaller shop that just says Hughes Haberdashery, and then a little further down the way, you see a leather working shop that just says Smith Street Leather Goods. And then with the raise, you also clock something for Ollie. You do clock a blacksmith. Uh, honestly, it seems kind of connected to the tailor shop.
Hmm.
But you see all of these things pretty immediately.
Right. I guess go to the leather.
Okay. You guys walk on up this store. You open it up, and when you walk in, you see a bunch of racks with like leather goods on them. You see saddlebags, satchels, dusters, coats, chaps, pretty much any sort of leather things you think of, holsters, bandoliers, belts, etc. Just sort of rolled up on shelves, sort of lining the walls, and then on racks in the middle, behind the counter, you see a case that appears to have finer leather goods in it. Some, you know, like dyed leathers, like very well stitched coats, things like that. And you see a probably middle 50s man with a sort of far receded hairline with that sort of monk cut going on and a big like handlebarish mustache. He's wearing a vest with some a white button up shirt underneath it and some stuff, and he seems to be he's got these like small almost bifocal like glasses on his nose, and he's looking down as he sews two pieces of leather together on what appear to be chaps as you all walk in. He doesn't really look up as you come in. Just one moment, please, boys.
Take time, sir.
as he pulls with his last strand and cuts it before tying it off. All right. He takes the glasses off and blinks a little bit, looks at you. I don't recognize you fellers, but is there something I can do for you?
I'm keeping my head down in kind of the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looking around with the head down. Well, I'm traveling north, finding some new lands to hunt in, and I ran into some dogs up in the mountains. Tore up all my belongings.
Mm.
I'm afraid. Uh, Willie, uh, uh, Willie Jones to you,
Oh,
and
I'm a.
yeah, I'm gonna get me a coat, I reckon, and coat and maybe some new pants, and yeah.
Well, I suppose I can do that for you. The name's Calvin. Um, what are you in the market for? If that's what you're looking for, and he starts sort of like pulling out a few things, sort of in the neighborhood of what you're looking for. Some finer than others. Just tell me what you're looking for and like the quality of what you're looking for.
Say like medium quality, darkened, kind of brown darkened, treated leather, duster. Uh, yeah, duster, because I got a lot of weapons. Yeah, duster.
Yeah, you are
Um,
fucking strapped.
and then pants, uh, a rancher's pant. So a few more pockets, like than the dress pant variety. Probably again, kind of treated tan, but kind of brown.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd do.
Okay, leather pants, leather coat.
And he's connected to the tailor, or was it the blacksmith?
No, the tailor and the blacksmith are connected.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, well, I got these two items that kind of look like what you're looking for. They do seem mostly, and they seem fairly well made. Um, maybe not as dark as you'd want them to be, but they're also not very worn. They'll probably get darker with time.
Yeah, these. What are these gonna run me?
These two things probably about $15.
$15. Well, how about you throw in a new holster for my arrows here, and call it call it 18.
Well, give me a trade check.
Notice check.
A
Okay.
trade check.
What is a trade check?
If you don't know, then I doubt you have a skill in it.
Is that a skill?
Yes.
I roll a d6 with this, right?
No, you roll a d4 and a d6, and then -2 the highest.
Okay, yeah.
You can still explode with these, but -2 regardless.
Tell you right now.
Use a chip if you need it.
Yeah, you're liking me.
Use a
Oh,
chip
one.
if you need it.
I-
Oh, like a crit fail?
I'm gonna use a chip. I'm gonna use a chip.
No, now hold on. Was it a crit fail? Did you roll 2 ones?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a chip.
Because I was about to come down on you.
All right, I got 5.
A 5. Okay. Yeah, I reckon I could get you a quiver to go with this. I don't sell arrows, but I can get you the quiver.
That's fine. I usually make my own. To be honest with you.
He points to you. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I got my revenge on them hounds.
Well,
They
did
were
you happen to skin any of them?
I didn't skin them because it was mutated. You see, they had these thorns on them.
Oh.
So the hide weren't good, but I do got the thorns.
All right. All right. You got the thorn, Joe. You mind if I get a look at them? I mean,
I
a
think
lot of folks pay for a little bit of filigree, a little bit of a little bit of a flair to their pieces, and some folks like to present their little bit of the wild type. They're not really, but they like to make people think that they might like a little something to dangle.
I take out one of the thorns. Well,
You also
This is
have
from
the boar quills.
I thought that's what he was talking about.
that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know they're not from the hounds. No,
Okay, my bad. I should have.
it's my it's my deception.
This is my
My
ultimate ruse. He looks at. Ooh,
There's one of them for you.
he just and these are fucking big.
Yeah,
Like
size of my hand, thick. I was kind of picturing like a gray, blackish, bluish coloration, but
that's about right. He looks at it. Ooh, you just tried to eat you?
yes, sir. Yes, they did.
True. Not to be rude, son, but I'm surprised they didn't if they had these on them. You must be
Well,
pretty good at what you do.
I want to say that I wouldn't got myself in the situation if that was true now.
A man who can admit his faults is a man who can grow from them, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And he looks at him just a little bit. How many of these you got? Because
Quite a
I'm
few.
picturing it. I'm picturing like
Oh,
for like a lady's gown in leather, but with these as like a collar piece. Just sort of spread around, sort of a feral tribal look. It could hit. It could be something that sweeps. And then they got a story to them. I could tell them about a wild man who came in from the mountain and done killed these brambled hounds, and they love it. Can I buy these off of you, son?
I do got quite a few of them, I reckon. What how many you think you need?
And he just starts like going around his starting from like his clavicle region, then going around his neck like 2 by 2. 6, 8, 10. If you give me about 10 of them, I cut you. Let's see. I give you. Hell, if this is rare, it's genuine. I give you $1 each.
$1 each. Well, since you were kind, threw in that holster or not holster, quiver. Sorry, I got a lot of weapons here.
I see that, and I appreciate it. A well-armed man is a man who can take care of himself.
I'll accept that deal without much of a hassle. Hustle, you say.
I don't know what that means, but sure. And he sort of scoops them up and hands you 10 sort of silver dollars. This is a good point here. This is the point where the transaction is going to kind of finish up. Do you have American currency? Or do you have Confederate currency? I'll let you tell me if you have any American currency, but I'm asking because I think the majority of your money is probably Confederate.
I mean, we started out there, so isn't all our money Confederate money?
I don't know. You tell me.
All right. So what did I start out? We started out with like 100 or some shit, right?
I don't remember what you started out with. That's on you.
I'll say. Don't you have a picture? Wasn't there a picture?
Yeah,
of me up
I
there?
did. Let me find it.
Should.
Weird West.
Where would that be?
Player characters.
It's like way over here.
John Whitman. Armor fighting. Rations matches. SIGs. You have $82.50 when you started.
All right, $82.
Because it's one of those things. I believe that JP had at least $2 worth of American coins because JP moves around a lot.
Yeah,
But
I don't.
you are you. So if you tell me you have some, sure, but like.
All right, as the transaction is commencing, I'm realizing that, or he holds out that money.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that this is different. There's different
Yep.
places here.
That's double Eagle American he's handing you.
Actually, sir, how about if I give you all these coils? I reckon I got about 18, 19. Almost two complete. Maybe you can make yourself a something else that the ladies would like, so you can sell it for a little bit higher profit. Make a few of them, and you take all the quills, and I'll take these new leather works, and we call it straight.
I think you've already made your trade check, so why don't you just give me a persuasion check for this one?
Is that a skill?
Yes, it's an innate skill. Everyone has persuasion.
Yeah, I was just messing with you. I actually got a D4. I got a 3. It's pretty
Okay.
persuasive, I think.
Yeah. See, the 10 I could get away with, but the rest of them, I don't know. If I make more than one, it takes the uniqueness away, and if the uniqueness is gone, then the rarity is gone. So no one wants to be at a prancing around only to see someone wearing something similar and then feel like they got ripped off. I don't know if I could really make use out of the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you need a whole attire? That one person could buy the whole set.
I see.
Wait,
There's
wait.
another. I feel like maybe less is more on this one. Like if I was to say put more on there, then you just walking around like a damn porcupine.
All right, that's true.
I'll
Alrighty.
slide in here. Can I try to help with this persuasion check? Or
You
is it
can
too
provide an assist to kind of like round out the end of this if you want to, and essentially you'll add to his check. All you gotta do is pass, and you'll
Okay.
give him the extra one that he would have needed.
Okay. 7.
7. Okay, you get it. How do you slot in and help him cap this?
Fuck, I don't know. Well, what about the jewelry?
Jewelry?
Ladies are all about earrings, right? Earrings, or I don't know. You could add something to maybe some part of the arms, something around the waist, maybe.
He just sort of like flutters his hand at his ear just a little bit. Ooh. I've never fancied myself a jeweler. Never have. But I'm a man of many skills, and perhaps this is the way I break into it, because I could see dangling a couple down, long and dangerous. If you turn the wrong way, it'll cut you. But that's the sort of thing people like. And that's what I appreciate about people liking things like that. A little bit of the danger is the spice of life. So, and I can make a few different things with it. Maybe break them down a little bit. Stud them up. Okay. All right. Your friend here speaks the truth. He makes sense. That's what I appreciate about him is his tongue. It works well. I like it. So
I love
I,
this man.
I'll do this deal with you. Now I'm not normally the type to just barter back and forth. I like the cold hard cash. The kind of stuff you can smack it on a counter, you can hear it make noise. I like that. But you boys are straight with me, and I appreciate that about you. So I'll take it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, and any future business or anybody ask for future business and whereabouts and whatnot, I'll be sure to send them your way. All right, sir.
Thank you very much. Word of mouth is the best word to get back to me. It really is. Print, it don't mean shit. Only time people show up is when someone tells them it's good, and I appreciate it. You tell them that.
Man of old fashioned. I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Feel free to spend a little more time looking, see if you want anything else. Otherwise, you boys have a good day. I'm gonna get back to sewing these chaps up. He gets back to sewing.
We're going next door.
You guys go to next door, and with that, we're gonna cut back to JP. JP, you are heading towards the church. You said.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're making your way towards the church. The church, as it has a steeple, and is one of the taller buildings in town, it is easy to find. It's sort of offset more towards the western side. Like if the town square is the middle of the town, 3 or 4 blocks westward, uh, you will find the church sort of sitting on a bit of a raised hill. Not a huge amount raised. Like this is still a city; it's mostly flat, but it does have a couple feet in elevation, probably built that way when this place was being founded. As you know, the church goes on the hill. Everybody knows that. And it
Mm-hmm.
sort of stayed there despite the fact that it's maybe the town has sort of risen to meet it just a little bit.
Okay.
But you approach and the church, nothing is really in incredible condition nowadays, especially this far west. But only a couple windows are boarded up. The rest that are there seem fairly clean. The boarded up windows aren't like shantily boarded up, just solid planked up windows. Um, the outside seems to have been freshly painted within the last couple years, and the grounds around it seem to be taken care of, not overgrown or anything like that. The door is shut, but it seems to be, welcoming, I suppose.
Very nice. He mainly just walked over there to, I guess, re-energize himself a little bit, especially after the last couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Still hears a man screaming in the back of his mind sometimes.
It'll happen.
But
It'll happen.
so for a little while he'll probably just either walk around that area, just kind of, I guess, more or less looking for more. He's gonna kind of just look a little bit more clues for Van Zant stuff. Just he figured if he was closer to the church, especially with how he's typically dressed, it wouldn't raise as many alarms if he's just kind of walking
Okay.
back and
Okay.
forth
So
here and
so you're
there.
not going into the church or anything like that.
No, not today.
Okay. Cool. You can go ahead and give me another notice check. I'm gonna go ahead and say ahead of time, there's not much more to gain on this side of town, but maybe a few things you can pick up.
Okay. 6.
Okay. With a 6, you don't see anything else. You still see, like, every now and then as you're walking by, you'll see, a lantern with a VZ on it, stoves, small, like, generators, because there is a small amount of electrical power that powers streetlights around here, with VZs on them, stuff like that. But the new thing you kind of gather as you're walking by, you see some folks sort of walking eastbound, and they're sort of dressed in like that like blue patched shirt and workers hats on, and you hear
Mm-hmm.
them talking as they go, and you hear the name Van Zant as they're going. And then you notice, like, as they're walking by, a couple of their toolboxes say VZ on the side, and you hear one of them mention how much he wishes uh, there was work on the western side of town because he hates having to walk across it every morning.
Oh, okay. I guess as they
So,
pass, I'm just gonna lightly trail behind them.
okay, if you're gonna tail these guys, why don't you give me a stealth check? Not a difficult one, but one nonetheless.
4.
Okay, yeah, not difficult, but still nonetheless. Um, you sort of walk behind them. You pick up a little bit more of their conversation. It's a typical sort of factory workers like mantra here. Too long of hours. Uh, Work's getting harder for some reason. The pay is shit. Um, and they keep going. And it's no big surprise to you that, you're able to put the connection together. You're headed towards the eastern side of town where you saw the plumes of smoke popping up and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. They're headed over there. That's clearly the industrial district, and that's probably where this place is located. As
Okay.
you sort of stick behind them, do you follow them all the way, or do you just kind of, stake your confirmation?
You know what? For now, I'll follow them all the way just to know how to get there if we ever feel we need to.
Okay. Yeah, you stick with them. Eventually, you get to a point to where they're about to get to a more open place where it's going to be more difficult to follow them. So you kind of stop, and you watch as they go into this industrial district. There's maybe a dozen factories over here, and you see the one they go to seems to be the largest, situated on the eastern side of town, connected pretty directly to the to the railroad, where stops can be made. Um, Very large with several outbuildings, but also gated. As they
Mm.
walk up, you see him talk to a guard who is wearing sort of like a suit, like an old timey suit with a tail on it, and a cap on top, and he has a lever action rifle slung over his shoulder. As he looks at all of them, seems to check them all out before waving them in. Gates open, gate shut.
Gotcha. All right. Well, he knows where that is. Now, he'll probably head back or head to the, I guess, more merchant district. Because he also has some things he needs to get off of his person.
Okay, what are you trying to do?
Oh, he'll probably just, he needs to buy some ammunition. And then he's got 3 pistols and he really only needs 2.
Fair enough. There are a few local gun stores. Like you pass one or two. Um, the first one just seems to be basically a small place that sells like hunting goods and things of that nature.
Okay.
And the second one seems to be more like a general store, but you can see a gun rack in the back.
Alrighty. I'll walk in there.
Which one? The hunting store or the one with the gun rack?
We will start. We'll go with the general store. It's a pistol. We'll go
Hey,
real
yeah.
mean.
You head up into the general store. As you make your way in, you peek in kind of and see this. It's a nice general store. A lot of sundry goods line it. And you see a sort of bronze-skinned woman with dark hair pulled back into a bun with sort of mm, a yellowish sort of collared dress on, just sort of dusting the place off and moving some stuff down from shelves as you walk in.
Hello, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. And she puts what she was on back down, sort of climbs down a step ladder from where she was trying to reach the top shelf. How can I help you?
I was looking to get rid of this here pistol, and I'll pull out my Colt Navy.
Ooh, okay. She sort of walks over to the other side of the counter where everything is. May I see it?
Yeah, he'll hand it over to her.
She sort of takes it, opens it, pours the bullets out into her hand, and hands them back to you. Um, Starts checking it out. How old is this pistol? Because I know you started the game with it.
No, this was the pistol that Chance took off the first dead body we killed and gave to
Oh
me.
yeah, you didn't start with a pistol, did you?
No, I only
No,
started
no.
with the Winchester.
Okay, so this is a shitty pistol. I remember you.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like it's seen better days, but I suppose that's why you're looking to part with it. She just kind of looks through it a little bit, blows it off. I could maybe give you $4 for it.
Oh, that should be enough, ma'am.
Oh, simple as that. And she sort of sits it down, pulls out one, two, three, four dollar coins and pushes them across to you. Anything else I can help you with?
Let me. That. It's a general store. Well, his hat got kind of mangled a few sessions back. You wouldn't happen to have any uh hats and garments that might fit me, would you, ma'am?
She just kind of gestures with a bit of a flourish to a shelf behind her that has several different types of hats.
Nice. He's gonna pick him out one. It's gonna be. There's my picture of my blessed man. It's gonna be the style that's fully flat around the circular part of the full bill, and with the flat top as well.
Yeah.
Not super
Yeah.
tall. You know, I'm not going for pilgrim here, but
Kind of that guy in the back of the GIF Daniel sent of a lady being hanged.
yeah, that's the
Okay.
one. That's the exact one.
Sure. That'll be $5.
$5. We'll pull out his money pouch. Let me get back to the goods location. And when I mark out my Colt, do I need to mark the holster that it was in as well, or would that be?
I mean, that's your discretion. That wasn't included in the deal.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep that. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, that's. I've already been given a newer jacket, so that should be all. Oh yeah, I also would she have coffee?
Of course. And she walks out with a couple bags of coffee. She pulls them out from behind. Hard to keep this on the shelves. She just kind of pushes it forward. I don't know how much fucking coffee costs.
It's 25 cents a pound.
That'll be 25 cents a pound.
He's just gonna take a good old 1 pound of it.
Okay.
So $5.25 total for everything.
Yep. Really $1.25 total since you got 4 back.
Oh, yep. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Of course. If you need anything else, make sure to come back and see us.
Definitely will. You have a blessed day.
You as well.
All right, I'm gonna walk out feeling spiffy in my new hat,
Uh-huh.
and then gonna decide. I mean, I should probably go find my friends.
Okay. Yeah, you remember some of what they said they were doing. You think they're probably around here somewhere, so you just go out looking for them. So we'll go back to you two. You two have just left the leatherworking shop and are headed to the blacksmith.
Yeah, the one that was connected to the tailor.
Yeah, you make your way across and you see sort of this strange building. So the corner of this street is marked by a single sort of 4x4 building, not very big. But then on either side of it is a building that forms sort of a 90-degree angle behind it. And on one end of it, you see a tailor shop, and on the other, you see a blacksmithing shop. And in the middle seems to be like this shared workspace.
Okay.
As you approach the Hughes haberdashery on one side, and then Hughes blacksmithing on the other. You pull up towards the blacksmithing side, I presume first,
Yeah.
and as you walk up, you see a fella banging away on an anvil in the inside. After you pass through the entrance, you don't see anyone, but the sort of shop portion is on either side with sort of a flush way leading straight into the interior where you see a bellows and a small forge with a dude just wailing away on a piece of metal. Seems to be making horseshoes at the moment. Um, a darker skinned fellow with a longer hair, but just sort of pulled back into a bit of a small ponytail, not very big. Extraordinarily muscular, wearing just sort of tan shirt and dark pants, no sleeves, just fucking enormous guns just wailing away on this anvil as he sweats and starts to do it, and in a pause, looks up at you all. Oh, can I help you both?
Howdy. And so looking at the shop, if he's just working on horseshoes, does he have anything else hanging up?
Yeah. Pretty much any metal product you could think of that would be common in a place like this. Farm equipment, turning plows, scythes, hoes, axes, um, small pieces of things that would be useful in construction, nails, staples, stuff like that. Just sort of general what a blacksmith in a moderate sized town would have to be producing,
Okay.
including stuff
Howdy.
like knives and stuff.
Right. We knew this was going to be a long shot, but I wanted to double check. Howdy. Got a bit of an odd request for you. We just moseyed on into town, and well, we're hunters of a type, and I was hoping to see if you might be able to help me.
Well, all right. You need some traps? I've got a few.
Uh, kind of reach into my satchel and pull out like my sword that's like been wrapped up in like a blanket or a bedroll. Well, something a little bit more maybe out of your wheelhouse. Kind of
Ooh.
unroll it. Now we plan on going north, and well, in our profession, you never know what you're going to run into. And would you happen to have any experience or know of anyone in town who might be able to help me get this, at least the edges, silvered?
Cool.
Because I know
Silvered,
it's a long shot, so.
I mean, I suppose I could do it for you. There are a few other blacksmiths in town, but not to be rude to them, but they don't really have the ears I do. But I might be able to silver it for you. I don't have silver in stock. He says, just kind of looking around his shop. It's not really the kind of thing I have a lot of. But if you would settle for just the edges being silvered, I could do that for you. If you want the whole sword silvered, that's more silver than I've got.
Nah, that's trying to be reasonable here.
All
Work with
right.
what we got. But if you could just do the edges, that'd be everything I'm looking for.
I can do it and then hone out the edges a little bit for you, knock some of the nicks out of it. I haven't had to work with anything like this in a while, but a lot of the folks moving around in the Ozarks, going up in the mountain, they take stuff like this with them. A lot of times it's hatchets, but I've seen people with these sort of shorter swords they used to use to hunt boar. And now I guess they use them to hunt everything, but I've done some work on them.
I need something bigger than a knife, trust me.
I believe that, but I've had experience with some of this. I can make it work for you. It's gonna take me a while though, and it ain't gonna be cheap.
Oh, so what are we looking at?
Well, he just sort of looks at it for a minute. The process of getting it done probably gonna take 2 or 3 days with my other orders in. I'd probably lean towards 3. Um, and then as far as price goes, let's see here. He just kind of looks at it for a little bit, running it up and down. And silver all the way around. $40.
All right. No, I
But
don't.
he just kind of looks at it for a second. And he kind of looks over to the shop behind it. Jessica! And he calls out, and a woman kind of peeks her head around. Yes. And a lady walks up, around the same age, shorter cropped hair, uh, wearing sort of a store gown, red with sort of a white collar on it. What is it? This fella's considering a pretty pricey piece of work here with us. And he kind of gestures towards the sword. You think you could get him something a little better to cover it than that rag he's got it wrapped in? And she looks at it and she says, think I could put something together. How much time do I have? Oh, 3 days maybe. I could definitely put something together in 3 days. And she just sort of looks at it for a second. And then he looks back. Nah, I know I'm not maybe your first choice, but I do promise my work is good. This is, well, I haven't always been a blacksmith here in town. I've had a little extra experience elsewhere, but just to maybe sweeten the deal for you, my wife here could throw in a sheath if that would make you more inclined to take on the work.
No, no, I'd definitely be happy with that. Now,
Right.
if you say you're the most experienced man in town, that's who I want.
Yeah, well, I used to be a shipwright on the Mississippi for a few years, but then once Johnny Reb really took over the southern Mississippi, there wasn't much use for folks up here north to ship things out that way, so shipping kind of died down a little bit, and the need for keelboats to run up and down did as well. But I've been working with a lot bigger metal, a lot more expensive metal than most of the people out here making turning plows.
You sound like the man for the job. Now, I still got a few stops to make, so I don't have that kind of money on me right now, but would
Oh,
you possibly up to a little bit of barter and pull out? I have a dozen quills.
he looks at him for a second. Woo. No,
And I'm not sure if you could use these, but you could maybe point me in the right way to get a fair price for them.
I think I might know someone who'd be interested in this kind of thing. And his wife kind of cuts in. We definitely know someone who would be interested in this kind of thing. There's a man who runs a shop, or at least at first glance it appears to be a shop. Well, actually, it appears to be a restaurant. It's complicated. About 5 streets down, headed west, more on the rougher, more well, the burnout side of town. I'm sure you saw it from your way in. Um, there's a restaurant called the Chuck Wagon. It's it's ran by a man named Jimbo Guinness.
Oh, Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbo.
Jimbo runs a. She just kind of like shakes her head before her husband cuts back in. He runs a bit of a combination. It's a restaurant and a gunsmith, though you wouldn't tell it from the outside. He's a bit of a wild card. I don't have much of a use for these. Maybe some sort of something Jessica could work out. It's a bit, it's a bit. What's the correct word for this? Natural of an appeal for me. I'm more of a modern type of tailor, and he kind of modern. But Jimbo, Jimbo might pay for it.
All right, that sounds perfect. All right, Jimbo. And what is the story on the other side of town? Why is it all burnt up?
Oh, that's a bit of a story. About this time, JP, as he's about to tell this story, you're walking past this sort of open building, and you look through and do see your friends, and you can join back up with them.
Oh, cool. I'm just gonna mosey on in behind him.
He sort of nods to you. I'll be with you in a second, sir.
Oh, I'm with them.
Oh, excellent. But yeah, about 10 years ago, I reckon. Some there's no better way to say it. Some warlord from out west, one of those types that just carves out a piece of land, pretends they're a king or a queen, tries to rule over the place. Decided that they needed some stuff from Springfield. This was a while ago. We were still trying to recover from the war proper, and well, security wasn't something that we were offered a lot in Springfield. We had to deal with occasional incursions from a lot of different things, a lot of different people, but never something on that scale. Uh, it, from what we can tell and learned afterwards, They were a bunch of soldiers that sort of formed together. Some out of the Confederacy, some out of the Union. After the war was over, they got too used to fighting and couldn't go back to life, so they went west, try to carve out a bit of their own, which, from what I understand, they still have. They called themselves the Diamondback Legion, but they ran into town, raided, burned, stole, killed. It was a rough night, but eventually enough people from the town came out and pushed them back, but we lost a large majority of it. Hell, I'm sure when you came in, you saw folks from the militia walking around outside in the green coats with the hawk on them.
Right. Is that local militia?
Yeah, the Springfield Volunteer Militia. It's called volunteer, but frankly, it's a full-time job at this point. There are a good number of them too. I think there's about 350 of them now, but they sort of supplement the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office works on sort of maintaining law and order, while the outskirts of the town they tend to take care of to watch out for things. Sort of a sentry type deal. But after folks rose up and pushed them back, we realized we wouldn't be able to count on the Union as far out. Just considering, well, old Uncle Sam, he's got a lot to worry about, and this far west of the Mississippi, sending help is often worth less than what you'd get out of it. Unfortunately, it is. Springfield's about as far west as the U.S. goes nowadays, so we mostly have to take care of ourselves. But the volunteer militia does a good job of keeping us safe. But they're good folks. They formed afterwards. Most of the folks who were kind of the type to vow never again sort of formed up. Uh, Miss Penelope White, who lost a majority of her family in that raid, sort of leads them now out of an old warehouse that's kind of burnt up, but on that side of town. Uh, Good folks, but kind of obsolete nowadays. The most they do is occasionally fight off something that comes off the mountain. We hadn't had a big raid like that in probably 7 years.
Well, that's quite a story. Oh, I'm glad the people here stepped up for you.
Someone had to. If they didn't, I suppose Springfield would be history.
Well, I'll go see Jimbo about these quills. Uh, you recommend anyone to sell a couple guns to?
Jimbo.
Jimbo? All right.
Jimbo will buy a gun off of you. He's much more likely to buy it if it's got a story behind it. Just spin a yarn. He might give you an extra $1.
That sounds perfect. All right. Well, thank you kindly. What was their names again? Like their last names?
Their last name was, I
Hughes?
just said it, which is
Hughes?
why yes, it's Hughes.
Mr.
Jameson and Jessica Hughes.
Thank you kindly. Kind of stick out a hand. Edmund Buck. You can call me Buck.
He shakes it. Well, Buck, I do hope to be doing some business with you a little bit later. Again, if you drop it off about 3 days, we'll get together, get you a sheath for it as well. But anything else metal you need me to work with, I can do it. I probably work with something similar at least some point.
Now I might bring back something that, well, it needs some dents knocked out of it.
All right. Well, I'll wait you then. We're open till about 7 o'clock, and then we open back up around 7 in the morning.
Alrighty. Y'all take it easy.
He goes back to whacking on the anvil.
Alright. Kind of turn to Mr. Was it Johnson now? Are you Johnson?
It's Peter Johnson.
Yep.
PJ, they call him.
Hey there, Peter. Sounds like I'm heading to the other side of town.
Alrighty.
How's your day going?
Pretty good. I found the industrial district. It's a pretty interesting place.
Oh, interesting. In a manner of speaking.
Well, are we outside of the? Are we still talking in the store?
You guys are still mostly in the stores. You're walking out. You're about to breach the street.
Okay. Uh, well, huge, just absolutely massive building, and just completely gated off to the rest of the world.
Hmm. Well, suppose we'll have to find out about that place, maybe.
That's what I thought.
Also, if you need to go grab if you have any plans for that skull, it sounds like someone might give you a fair price for it where I'm going.
The skull is actually going to stay with me for a while. It's quite nice.
All right, sure.
But I do have these quills to get rid of if we're going somewhere. So I'll definitely come with you guys
Quills has just become apparently y'all's currency.
because we
Well, I'd
skinned
like
that bad
probably
boy.
fucking-
really hard to exchange money here
It does have its issues.
instead of like, hey, here's the exchange rate. It's like, this is poop. Like, well,
It may be poop to some people, but very few people are going to acknowledge it for its full value. That is 100% true.
so we're going to the chuck wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys go west. As you
Go
head
back to the
west,
butcher.
you head back to the butcher?
Yeah.
Okay. You head back to the butcher. As you two head west, um, approaching the western side of town, you can see down the road, like maybe 7 or 8 buildings down, you see the point to where the ground becomes much more level as buildings have collapsed, and you can see the remains of a burnout side of town. Looking at it now, you can tell that you were pretty solid in that it was about 10 square blocks that burnt up. So probably a solid, 150 buildings were destroyed.
Oh man.
So it was a significant attack that left probably about a sixth of this town destroyed.
Okay.
But you see a building that's sort of ramshackle with like a half hanging off sign with a window opened up with like picnic style tables outside. A literal like almost drive through type situation. As you see like sandwiches being handed out, you see a very portly man with long scraggled hair and sort of a wild smile on his face, just like pushing out food, taking money, slapping people on the shoulder as they do. And he just looks out at you all, like sort of like before you even show up, you just come into like his area, and he looks up. He's like, "Can I get you a sandwich?" And he just points straight at PJ, like from a solid 40 feet away.
Sorry, my headphones just jacked up on me. I missed what he said. He said.
He said, "Can I get you a sandwich?" As he points at you from 40 feet away before you even enter
Okay.
like the sphere of his restaurant. Like it's one of those things. Like he points past 2 people who are like serving, and everyone stops for a second, just looks at you as he just maintains the level of his finger.
Sure.
Yes. And he starts putting a sandwich together, pushes it out like as you get there. That'll be a dime.
Okay.
Man, that's expensive.
I hand the man a dime.
Thank you very much. And he puts it in there.
Well,
I-
oh, go ahead.
He just hands you pretty satisfying looking ham sandwich. It looks like it's got a bit of like cut cheese on it, fresh tomato, on some pretty well made bread as he pushes it forward.
I'm gonna take a bite out of it.
It ain't bad.
Cool. Let's think. Do I die?
It ain't bad.
Hmm.
And he just sort of like smiles, like, yeah. And you also want a sandwich, don't you?
I kind of like look and
That
nod,
sounds
like
like
it's
a good
pretty
deal.
good.
What was that, Chance?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that you're Jimbo?
The one and only. The one and only. I see that my name has made it to you, which means that someone has been singing my good graces.
Well, I got some things for trade, and I was told you're the man to see.
And he sort of like rubs his hands together real hard. Now, most people don't come to a restaurant to trade, which means you're probably here for the other half of my establishment. Is
Kinda
that
look at me.
correct?
That's correct. Is there a door somewhere?
Oh, it's around here. And he like runs to the other side. You hear like a trip as things like clatter to the ground and a thud. Oh, shit. And you hear like scuffling as a door. You hear latches come off it as a second door on the other side opens up. Now come in. Come in.
We mosey.
Yep. I'll
You
mosey while I'm
two
eating.
walk in as he shuts the door behind you. You see a veritable fucking armory
Oh,
as you walk in. There are, you don't know how to count, like, numbering in the dozens. You see long rifles, you see pistols, you see bows and knives and all sorts of other things just laid around, like, behind, like, a wrought iron barred countertop as he, like holds up hands, tells you to wait. You see him like fumble out keys, open a door, go to the other side, lock the door, then run behind the part where the wrought iron is. And he puts his arm down, looks over. The name's Jimbo Guinness, but you already knew that. What can I do you for?
The name's Buck. Well, we just came into town and I need to sell you some stuff. And it's not your everyday kind of goods.
You can see his interest being piqued harder and harder. You are fully edging this dude as he sits there, just like, oh.
Now, by
And
trade, I'm a monster hunter.
oh.
Is that in your business, sir? Add mystery.
Now, I I haven't ever partaken in hunting of monsters myself, but I do love the idea of it. See, me myself, I'm just good at making sandwiches and guns. All right, but I love hearing when other people can put either of those things to use.
either.
So, what do you got?
Pull out quills and like hold them in one hand and like fan them out.
I'm gonna do the same while I'm eating my sandwich with the other hand.
And oh,
We got a good
what is
amount of
that?
these.
That's a good 1.5 feet long. Where'd you get that from?
Some kind of quill boar monster. Is about 12 feet tall.
Mm. All right. So obviously, this is all true, and
Obviously.
you've got him pretty much in the palm of your hand here. But I am just for cursory sense gonna need a persuasion check. The DC is not high.
Shocking. My boy Jimbo is an iron wall.
Mm-hmm.
Nigh impenetrable. 7.
12 feet tall. Oh God. No, that is interesting. Would you drop it with? I gotta ask.
I can't remember. Am I the one that finished it off, blowing its
Yeah.
brains out through its
Yeah.
mouth?
Yeah, it would have been your gun.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it had me in a gourd position.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have a mouth. If only I had food in here right now, I could actually eat some food and stuff.
Just fully digging into a
Yeah.
very good sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Like a hearty sandwich too. Like this is not a thin sandwich.
We're sure we're having a hammer down like this with a tusk here. And then I put my gun in its mouth and shot. And I'm using the hand that has the sandwich as my gun, just like
Mm-hmm. Blam.
blam.
All right. What kind of piece you got? What kind of piece were you using on that?
A Colt Navy that I that I just sold.
Well, it's a good thing you got rid of it, because not to tell you your business, because obviously you know what you're doing. But then again, you said you were getting gored, so maybe not that well. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Colt Navy, trash. Not actually trash. A fine gun. But for hunting something 12 foot tall, wrong. Incorrect on every level. Now, I know you're here to sell me something, but I'm also here to sell you something. You walked into my place of business. That's what I got to do. That's what you got to do. We're both here to make money, spend money, make deals. That's what this is. Can I interest you in something better?
Define better.
Better is the definition. I don't need to define it because it is better. And he reaches behind the counter. You hear a latch, and he pulls out a lever action rifle, puts it on the thing. This weapon right here is not even in production yet. This is a prototype, fresh off the line, that I got from a fellow who was heading out west. He was coming from Chicago. This right here is a Marlin, and from what I understand, will one day be the Marlin 1893. Now, I know what you're saying. It's 1890. That's because this baby ain't in production yet. And he kind of like levels it down. A beautiful rifle, a nice like dark wooden stock with a sort of like steeled action, clearly chambered in a significantly larger round than what you guys are using. 4570 government issued, good range on her, kicks like a mule, but when I tell you she hits like something even bigger, she do. And it could be yours. If you're out there hunting monsters, you need something a little more kick and a Colt Navy. You got the Navy part right, but I'm here to sell you a damn battleship.
Gotta crack a smile. What's the price tag?
The price tag on this boy now, nah, I'm not gonna lie to you. This ain't cheap. Again, not on the market yet, but better than about anything you find out there. $120. And
That's a little.
for posterity, just so you know you're not being completely upsold. Those are the stats on the Marlin 1893.
Oh shit! I got. God damn!
Mm.
3 armor piercing. That's.
Buy that for me.
I'm gonna tell you about it. You
Mm.
can make sweet love to this man for this rifle.
2d8 plus 2, AP plus 3, 10 rounds, and its range is 30, 60, 120.
Alrighty. Well, and or a D4 strength requirement.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. That means I meet the requirements. 'Cause I'm a weak boy.
Now,
Okay.
this is a prime piece right here. This is the kind of thing that you ain't gonna find even in production. You find something like this, trainer 4570, you know it's gonna kick. But this is the next level. This is what comes after. This right here is the future.
All right. Well,
Well, it's part of the future. The future goes further. Believe me that. But this is what I got right now, or at least what I'm willing to offer.
well, could we do a little bit of, because I have my 10 quills on the table, um, slight payment and bartering, because obviously I know you won't give $120 for these quills, but I also have, and I'll pull out my sawn off Winchester.
Hold up one second.
You good?
I'm back.
Sounds
What were you
good.
saying?
Oh, I put my 10 quills down. I put my sawn-off shotgun down with and I'll just let them. I've got.
You have a sawn-off Winchester, right?
Sorry,
Not a
yeah, yeah,
sawn-off
yeah, yeah.
shotgun.
Sorry. And as I'm reading, literally looking at the word Winchester and say shotgun. And I've got 42 bullets that'll go with that.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, what I could do is if you're gonna offer something like that, what I could do is I could knock $30 off the price. $90, I think fair for a little trade there.
$90. All right, sir. Let me double. So what? So it's 45.70 ammunition.
45.70 would be. Let's see. It is large rifle ammo. For 50 rounds, it'll cost you $5.
Okay, so for $95, I could get the gun and 50 rounds. I'm
Mhm.
assuming he also sells bullets,
Yes.
or he's just one of those tickle diddlers who's just like, here's the
Mhm.
gun, now go find out how to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, sir, I think you have yourself a deal.
Alrighty. You fork over
90,
your old thing and the money as he scoops it over.
$95.
Now, some of yours is definitely going to be Confederate money. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way around that.
So
Are you trying to part with some Confederate cash here?
no, so I had the most money of everyone. I still have $167.
Holy shit!
And I was gonna say at the beginning of the session
Wait.
that I would just say half and half. So I was gonna say I started with like 220, and
So you think 110 is American and 110 is Confederate?
yeah, and since we've only been
So-
spending Confederate, I was thinking 100
Yeah,
ish
no,
was
that's
probably
fair.
110 was American, and probably 50 something ish was.
So you're gonna burn through the majority of your American cash right now.
Yeah, I will have $15 American cash left.
Okay.
Give me
You
my loot.
fork it over, and he slides that through, and then pushes a box of ammo over to you as well. No. All right. That's that. And he looks at you, Ollie, and you. You need something too, don't you? I can see it. Now, I don't have something. Well, I got some stuff quite like that, but it's expensive as hell. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody. It's like too much to ask of most people. But I've got some stuff. But I've also got some special stuff that's a little more cheaper for the discerning customer.
Well, right now I'm looking to make money. I have some
All right.
stuff being worked on,
All right.
so I can trade in quills, and then I got two winnies and a. Hold on. I gave the ball and cap to Austin,
Yes.
so I have two winnies to sell.
No. When you did that originally, you had a ball and cap, and you picked up the original Colt Navy.
Okay.
You gave me the
Right.
non-ball and cap.
Right. Yeah. Because yes, I wanted you to have a real pistol.
Yeah.
A dozen quills, two winnies, ball and cap Colt Navy,
All right.
and these all came from the den of that monster.
I was gonna make you make a trade check, but you can change that to a persuasion check if you would like to.
As you edge
I
this man
will.
further,
Yeah, he's about to come. You're almost there.
you're almost. Oh man.
As I'm slowly making my stack. It's like, well, he actually left out about how we had to pull the damn thing off of him with our horses. Lasso the damn thing. Threw me 20 feet, off that way, and yada yada. Yeah. 8.
All right. Seeing as these are souvenirs of a hunt well done, I give you $55 for it.
I reckon that seems fair.
He sort of slides it under. Now, I don't know how much whatever these repairs are that you're after, but I do. I got some stuff for a monster hunter.
All
If
right,
you
we're
want
already
it.
here. Show me what you got, Jimbo.
He kind of looks past to make sure the door behind you is locked. He pulls out a few boxes. The first one is like a crate, like a military style crate with like ropes on wood. He sets it down and opens it. And as he opens it, you see a line of 6 metallic objects with handles sticking out of them.
Oh shit.
Now,
Oh.
you don't find these much outside of he looks around, still like a little paranoid. Outside of the military, right? Union started making these a little bit after the war, just in case it kicked back up just a little bit. But think of this as a stick of dynamite that you don't really have to light. And he pulls out a grenade.
Oh no.
Now this bad boy right here, very secure, very stable, not like a stick of dynamite. You just pull this here, let her fly, it'll light a fuse inside of it, explodes, and after it explodes, all this metal on the outside will shoot out in the directions like a damn cannonball, rip and tear anything around it. Mechanically, this is a hand grenade. It is a stick of dynamite that does not have a chance to detonate if you get hit.
Boo.
Does not have a
I've,
chance.
I've got this, of course. And then these are, they got a bit of a price to them each, but, I promise you that they're worth it. Each one here, $6. I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 of these. $7 each. He sort of shifts them over the side. And then next, he reaches down and pulls out this like hefty piece of metal. It has gears and like pipes running through it. And then it has like a canister on one side and then a canister on the bottom, this like long cylindrical shaft with a handle on the bottom and sort of a stock that curves up into an L. And then on the sides you see like a bunch of feeding tubes. This here is of my own invention. And he sort of like levels it down. Now this here, and he pops out the canister on the bottom and puts it down before sort of pulling it, and you see metal bolts come out of it. This here will sling these here metal bolts at it about about 500 feet a second. They'll punch through just about most things. They're not gonna have the same armor penetration as that thing that I just sold your buddy here, but the special thing about it. And he starts to twist a little thing on it, and you see like this small like pilot light come on as it starts to heat up. She's powered by steam. And you know what that means? She's quiet as can be. She makes a little pop, for sure, but not as gonna be heard wide around. You can sling them far and wide, you just gotta warm her up first. And he just kind of looks at it. And my quality is, of course, guaranteed. He sets down a steam-powered bolt thrower and pushes it to the side. And last thing, nobody has ever been able to afford it. I don't think you guys are going to be able to either. But I don't get to show it off that often. You all professionals, I'm going to show it to you anyway. He pulls out a wooden stocked weapon, and the wood stock is about 5 inches across with a large butt, almost blunderbuss style gun. However, instead of a spread barrel, there are 6 barrels and a crank on the side.
Buy that for me.
I
This
done,
here
I done spent all my money.
is again, a work of mine based off of something I saw back in the war. Of course, I wasn't fighting in the war, but I was there. But this here is a portable Gatling gun. I dubbed it a Gatling rifle, he said. Give me the look, give me the look. Now you just crank this bad boy to spin the barrel. You hold down the trigger, and she will spray down. Whoo-wee. About 2 rounds a second. Got a 40-round magazine. A thing of beauty. And he sets that down. Now, I know you may not be able to afford some of this right now, but no one else is ever going to buy this. So if you ever come across the money, you remember me.
How much are you wanting for it, sir?
So $7 for the grenade. Chipple. For the bolt thrower here, steam powered. You have to buy some oil for it on your own, water or whatnot. $70. Plus, you're probably gonna want to buy canisters because loading this by yourself will take a damn minute. 8 per canister, and then the Gatling rifle. $500.
You turn in Whitman, we can buy all of it.
You're not wrong. But we could technically turn in ourselves and also afford it.
And I see the look on your face, gentlemen. I knew you couldn't afford it. No one can afford it. I don't know how I afforded it. Mostly I made it.
That was
And-
my questions.
And it was mostly just a little trial and error. And, trial and error is worth it. And as he holds up his hand, you realize he's missing 2 fingers.
Oh,
It's worth it
no.
at the end of the day. But this thing works well. Again, of my own making. I can't guarantee that it's gonna run perfect like something you buy out there, but it works. I've tested it. Just remember that it's here. And he just slowly caresses it. Wait. And he just kind of puts it back under the counter. But these 2 things are in the wheelhouse of shit people can afford.
Just one question, sir.
Yes.
You gave us decent deals for the quills of this
Mhm.
beast.
Mm-hmm.
What would the skull be worth to you?
Oh.
And there he finished.
Can I see it? Why don't you just show it to me first, and we can talk about how much it might be worth it.
Okay.
You got it. You got it on you. Is it still on your horse, or did you take it with you?
I'm probably going to assume it's probably still on the horse's pack. So I can go get it. How far away is the rail station?
I mean, it's gonna take you a solid 20 minutes to go there and back.
Okay. I don't have it on me at the moment. It's at my horse. But I look at Oliver like, but I can go get it.
I mean, if you wanted to, you could do that. I got other stuff. Nothing that'll really fit what I just sold you because, well, frankly, it's well, it's not. I don't carry a lot of 4570, but I've got a few other things. And he put some bullets on there. Now these have had a little bit of special work done on them, and he pushes forward like in standard like calibers for what you guys have been rocking, just not the 4570. Some bullets that appear to be soft point, and some bullets that appear to be jacketed. Another something you might want to consider if you were willing to stock up on that. But sure, I'd be happy to take a look at that skull if you got it. You want to go get it? You can go get it. Why don't you go get it?
I'll go get it.
Yeah, go and get it.
No,
Kind of
come on now.
nod to Jimbo, and I'll head out with JP.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll be
With
back.
that,
And while you go
Will
do
you-
that, just one last thing.
uh-huh.
I'm gonna go handle my own business. On your way back, you should probably grab old Willie.
Yeah. How much US dollars do you have on you?
Well,
That's none of your fucking business.
not counting what I just made, I have about $30.
Gee.
I'd probably say about 10 of it is American.
Okay.
Mhm.
That seems
Okay.
safe.
Yeah,
About
I think so.
$10.
I didn't realize I was loaded compared to everyone else.
You're loaded compared to the most of the fucking country, dog.
Well, not anymore.
You're jangling.
I get it from my dad.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that everyone was offering to pay for stuff. Like, I'll pay for the room and board. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
You do you. Who am I to stop you? All right, yeah, I'll go get him. We'll start an allowance fund or something.
Oh, fuck, a moth just flew in my face. Jesus Christ. It scared the shit out of me.
All right, so
Whenever
I'm
you guys buy, just make sure you get back quietly.
I'm gonna run to the horse, get the skull, put it in my bag, and then run to go get Willie.
Okay. Well, while that's happening, Willie, what are you doing as you walk into or head to the butcher shop?
Well, I go out back and take out my knife
Oh.
and I give myself a haircut.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you give me a fucking minute.
The haircut with the knife is so it looks like it's raggedy and that
Mm-hmm.
it's been growing out for a little while. I cut it medium length,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's why I went out get that done. Oh, I changed into my regular shirt instead of the uniform,
Yeah.
and fold up the other clothes and put them in my bag and whatnot.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to just give me an agility check.
All right. See here. 6.
6? Okay. You accomplish what you were trying to do. You give yourself sort of a raggedy look without making yourself look homeless. You know what I mean? Like you get a grizzled look, but you manage to shorten your hair and you don't make it so bad that you stand out.
Mhm.
As you sort of just get that sort of shaggy, unkempt look without getting a wild look to it. As you're like sitting there cutting it off, you hear a voice say, "Rather dashing, I suppose." And you turn and like draped over some crates, you see a gray dappled naked woman just looking at you with her head hanging upside down.
I'm using my I'm invoking my gallows humor. Yeah, I bet you are in your physical form so you could fuck me, don't you?
Mhm. She sort of smiles at you. Oh, that just seems so plain.
Yep.
And she like rolls over, and as she does, it's very unnatural. Like her body like creaks and bends in ways that it shouldn't be. The fact that she's more elongated than she should be becomes obvious whenever she moves in that sort of way. It's very like almost cat and serpentine like at the same time as she like spins to look at you.
Yeah, your posture seems a little long there, like sad and like stretched out. Too
Oh.
much butter on toast. Spread out.
Thank you, Pilfo. She just kind of looks at you. "Hmm, maybe, maybe that's the case." And she like slithers a little bit towards you almost. But then again, I'm not the one who's being stretched too thin, am I? And she sort of levels her eyes at you before looking down at your chest, before sort of coyly looking back up.
I stare as deep into her eyes as physically possible. Nah, I feel stronger than ever.
And you are welcome.
Oh, well, fuck me, I guess.
Got
Locked into that one.
Got him.
She sort of just sits back a little bit. You know, this, whatever this is, this mm, cohabitation of
Ain't
this
no
withered thing.
cohabitation at all.
Oh,
We'll
but
find
it
out
is.
Find out how to banish your ass back to the hell that you came from.
She sort of sits down next to you and just drapes an arm around you. You know that she is physically not there, but you can still feel her there. As her skin touches yours, you feel like a preternatural sense of unease spread over your body as like the hair on the back of your neck stands up.
You
Now,
feel
see,
that? Those are the bars to your prison.
mm,
Ain't no cohabitation.
I believe it's our prison now because you, my little half-dead friend, are just as much a passenger as this thing as I am. You said you would prefer, or maybe I would prefer if I was here in the flesh to fuck you, but I suppose that might be a bit of a wayward thought in your head, considering it might not be long before she like flicks your dick. That doesn't work at all. I don't know how much longer the blood is going to keep pumping, so maybe you might consider actually taking your own advice.
Alright, that was a little unpleasant. That's a wrong bar you're flicking. But
Mhm.
it holds stiff
It holds
as iron
still.
should. As iron, it holds stiff as iron should be.
I think that you and I may have gotten off on the wrong foot. Given our meeting, I understand things like this happen, but you and I don't have to be enemies for as long as I'm here and as long as you're here, until this body gives out at least. We could help each other.
Thought about it. I reckon I'll be fine.
Oh, you think that now, but there's always going to be a time when you're going to need help. Oh, and you'll cry out. You'll scream out for someone to help you, but no one will help because they never do, because your kind are worthless. You ultimately only think about yourselves because truly you are animals, and it's something that I appreciate about you. It's so honest. And I love honesty. So why don't you embrace a little bit of that honesty and accept that there may come a day where I need to help you, and I will help you because what's good for you is good for me.
Oh,
And
I'm
all
gonna
I
help you, all right. Gonna escort you right back to the 9 hells that you came from there.
9. 9 is a rather small number, but it's honestly not that bad. I expect you'll see it one day. And then maybe we can play this on the reverse side. Maybe I can carry you while you're down there. And you'll see that this was not exactly that bad of an arrangement after all.
Well, as long as you realize that I sent you there first.
Fair
Ladies
enough.
first, after all.
Lady's sort of a relative term, but for now, sure, lady. And she sort of sits down across from you. All I ask is that you hear what I'm saying and consider it. In that moment that will come when death is nearing, you can feel it gripping your heart, your companions are dead, dying, screaming, and you have no one else to turn to. Just ask little old me for a hand, and I'm sure that we will make it through together.
Alright, I'll keep it in mind. Yep,
Do
right in the
that.
back. Right next to this last bullet in my gun. Go through the head before I ask some damned witch for help.
The bravado is always the first or last thing to go. We'll see what kind of man you are in the long term. And she just sort of stands up, reaches for, like, leans forward, gets eye to eye with you. But that's for later. And she just vanishes, and you're alone in the room again.
Alright, think I look nice and spiffy now. Time to go back
Yep.
to the boars.
You stand up, accepting a probable new reality for yourself, as it seems that she has fully settled into your body and is becoming more and more comfortable living there. As you start walking out just in time to see JP walking towards you with the skull of the creature you slew in hand.
Hey, Willie.
That's a reminder of her where she belongs. You see that bitch?
What did you just call me?
I ain't done. I wasn't talking about you.
Who were you talking about?
Oh, since I said it under my breath, I don't know if you actually heard me or not.
Pacow, pacow.
So, anyway, you want to come with me right now, I think.
And why is that?
Because, Crazy Jimbo has something I think you'll want.
Alright,
Jimbo
well,
is sane as a fucking fox.
Alright. Which one was Jimbo? What does he get?
He sells guns.
Yeah, I reckon I need an upgrade.
Alright, cool. So, come with me.
You ain't even gonna comment on the hair? That's fine.
I thought it looked very nice.
Ah, thank you. Did it myself. Right now.
Oh.
Did you have a beard, correct?
Yeah,
Did you shave it as well?
yeah, kind of rough like,
Yeah. Okay.
I think you and Jimbo are gonna get along. And I
Alright.
start heading in the direction of Jimbo.
You guys make your way to Jimbo's. As you go to open that door that leads to the armory section, you pull and it's locked. And you hear someone it's like, "Who is it?"
It's Peter Johnson. You gave me a Marlin.
You hear a lot of shaking in there. It's like the door. You hear doors cranking open as he like pulls the door open. Come on, come on. Oh. As he sees what you have in your hand.
I'm saying, as he opens the door, I have it like pedestaled in my hands, like just so he can see it perfectly.
You gotta like get your elbow into it and lift with your upper arm because this thing is still fucking heavy.
Yes.
As you're just like, oh yeah. Now that is something. He just doesn't break eye contact with the skull, extends his hand. Jimbo. And he like lifts it up to you, Willie. Okay, cool. And he puts his hand back.
He said what?
He said his name. He was trying to shake your hand.
Wait, how does he know my name?
He didn't.
He doesn't.
He said his
his
name.
Oh. Oh, okay. I was like confused because you said Willie.
My bad.
Willie Jones to you, sir.
Willie Jones. Okay. You two come in. Come in the shop. And he opens the door wide, brings you two in, shuts the door behind you, throws the latch down. All right. That's an impressive skull you have there.
I go and set it on the counter because it's heavy.
Yeah, heavy.
I
Oh,
told her she was a beauty.
she is. That she is.
Oh, what's with all the secrets here? Is this not a arms store, ain't it? I saw the sign out front.
Let me tell you something, friend. Let me tell you something. There's one thing in the world today that someone's looking to steal. It is a fine firearm.
That's true, I reckon, but
You cannot be too careful. Not in here, not anywhere. If you've got a stock like I've got, you got to be prepared. You got to know that someone's going to come to try to get it. And that's why you got to lock it down good. So that's what I do.
He's not lying. I unsling the Marlin from my back and just kind of hold it out to John H. Whitman so he can just kind of look at that craftsmanship. I just bought this off of him, but he's got something else that I think you're gonna really want.
what's this chamber in here? What in
40.
Charlie?
Right there is 4570. She ain't even on the market yet.
Lever action?
Oh, yeah.
What's a preacher needing this for? Should have sold this to me now.
Well, he's got something else I think you're gonna want more than this, Mr. Jimbo.
Want them both.
I don't know what inclination you are, what it is that you like to do, sir.
I'm a hunter.
But I knew you would be. And he pulls up pretty much everything he just showed them. He flops a box down carefully, throws the top off. You see grenades. He then pulls out boxes of different types of jacketed ammo and soft tipped ammo, pushes those forward, and then he pulls out a metal steam contraction that appears to shoot solid steel bolts out of a rotating canister, puts that down before finally he puts a box on and then like almost centrally blows the top of it off before flicking it open with a flourish and pulling out this huge, wide stocked gun with multiple barrels and a crank on it and puts it down.
You're gonna trade this for that here head?
Absolutely not. But it can knock significant amount off the price.
Oh, what was the price?
The price of this beauty here is $500.
Ooh.
The price of this beauty here, and he rubs the bolt thrower, $70. This shit over here, and he points at the grenades and the ammo. It's like $7 a grenade, and then the bullets is like five. It's like $10 for 20 of them.
Oh, how much is it now?
Why don't you give me a trade check? The DC is 2.
Who's making the trade check since it's? Do you want me to
I
make
feel
it
like-
since it's my skull? You want him to make it since he's doing the talking? Or
You-
since
you
we're
tell
doing
me
both, can we
whoever
assist?
needs to do it and one can assist the other? I don't care. This is basically a don't crit fail twice type situation.
All right.
Use a chip
Well,
to knock down as much price as you can, boys. This is
Okay.
the best guns we're gonna find in a while.
so Daniel, I guess I can do the check if you want to do the assist.
All right.
Alrighty. Unless you have the trade skill, because I don't.
I'm a man of arms.
Alright, so we're doing it the hard way. Oh, thank goodness. So I got a 9. It's a -2, right?
Mm-hmm.
A 9 -2, I got a 7.
You might use a chip just to see.
I mean, you've already got a raise on it.
Could get 2 raises.
He's rolling at -2. I feel like that's a risky proposition.
I'm gonna hold.
Okay.
Because we can see if Daniel's assist gets me anywhere.
Yeah, if your assist works, he is at 9. One more will get him a second raise. So you just have to pass.
All right. I used 2 chips. I got a 4.
Okay.
That's after 2 chips.
That's 2 raises with 2 chips. He looks down. All right, I'll tell you what I can do for that there skull. He does some math in his head. On this here rifle, I'll knock $85 off the price. And I'll be honest with you, I really want it. I really want it. I will trade you the bolt thrower and a canister for it, if you would like to part with it.
Me looking at Mr. Whitman.
Before you guys do anything, just to keep things up front and on the table, I will give you the stats for the bolt thrower. And another portion that I have not written on this, but is true of it, it is effectively a silenced weapon.
Ooh.
Because it is powered by steam. It makes a pop, so you can't walk up to 3 people, shoot one in the back of the head, the other 2 will still hear you. But if the other 2 are 100 feet away, there's a chance that they won't.
Oh, and you could buy a speed loader to only have to reload in one
That's what the
action.
canisters are. Essentially, there are 2 ways to fire it. With canisters, or you can just have a rack underneath. like a
Okay.
cylindrical rack where you can like use it like a cylinder for a revolver, or you can just pop the entire canister out and put a new one in. And he has one speed loader, essentially, so one extra canister.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll go ahead and throw in. I'll go ahead and throw in 16 bolts to go with it for the trade, and a flask of oil to get her fired up.
Well, Mr. Jones, is this something you think you'd like, or are you gung ho on us saving up for that big boy?
I ain't got the money for these items.
Well, the skull can get us the thrower.
That's
So if
your trophy, not mine. You make the decision.
no, I'm asking if you had to choose between one of these weapons, would you even use the bolt thrower, or are you an arms man, full mini gallon?
I will also say, just to take into account specifically for Mr. Whitman, with the ammo and the bolt thrower, you're adding 15 pounds of weight. This is not a small weapon. It is very bulky.
There's also an armory on Mr. Whitman's back that he could throw a few things down if he needed to.
No, that's not gonna happen.
He only adds, he does not take away. What are you thinking, Mr. Jones?
Like I said, it's your trophy. I ain't got the money for it. Also, I need a new shotgun.
He likes slow turns to you. I could accommodate that.
Can you place this here sawed off?
I could replace it. Do you want a replacement or do you want an upgrade?
How much is the upgrade?
He just sort of leans forward. Now, I don't have anything quite as special as any of the stuff I put down before you. But, and he looks down, walks over, and produces a long gun, much longer than your double barrel, but it has a lever on it as he places a Winchester lever action shotgun down. It's not the same thing, a little different, but I can knock the stock off for you if you wanted to saw it off, round it out real quick, put a little varnish on it. You might want to let it sit for about a few hours. But I could shorten it a bit for you.
And the price?
Let's see. Well, if you're trading in this old double barrel you got here, it's seen a little bit better days, I'd give it to you for $20.
Alright then, I'll keep it in mind. Won't
All
be in
right.
town for a little while.
All right. See what you do. See what you do.
All right, Mr. Jimbo, since you've been a great help to us, you've offered the bolt, the canister. What would you say if you gave me the monetary value of those things, and I'll leave this skull here today?
All right. I do want this skull. I'm not gonna lie.
It looked mighty nice behind you, hung up.
Okay. I can do that. I can do that. Give you $80 for it.
All right.
He just sort of pulls out literally an ridiculous amount of cash for this time period and for what you're giving him. Like a truly astronomical sum, and pushes it over to you. Just actual paper money, not coins, just slides it over as he takes the skull. There are a lot of things I could do with this. And you see him just kind of like eyeing the barrel of the skull, or of the gun, and then like the mouth where the skull is, and like you see the wheels turning in his head.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes. But I appreciate it, and he puts it back. Now, of course, you're welcome back anytime. Unless, you know what, on the house. And he like runs out, opens up the door, runs into another room adjoining, where as he opens, you see the outside as he walks back, and he hands you both another sandwich each.
These are good. You're gonna want that. I just start chowing down.
Those are for you. If you need anything else, you come see Jimbo. If you find anything else like that, you also come see Jimbo.
Brian, I have a question. So the lever action lamats that I picked up, they're just
Okay,
pistols with a lever
yeah,
action on them, right?
they are functionally like they're listed as a mat because that's the stat block they use, but they are uh volcanic rifle or volcanic pistols. So they're just lever action pistols that use the same stats of the map minus the shotgun.
Gotcha. That's what I thought. Okay.
But
Well, got two.
hope you gentlemen have a good day, and if you need anything else, you come see me.
You have a good one.
All right. As he lets you all out, and you hear the door latch behind you, and you hear him like trundle over to the restaurant side of his business to continue that. And with that, we're gonna cut over to Oliver. What is Oliver doing during all this? Maybe we cut over to Oliver. I don't think we cut over to Oliver.
Is you fell asleep?
I'm here.
Okay.
We
I mean,
cut
for
over.
you. Okay.
No, we were cutting over to you. What are
So,
you up to?
so yeah, my plan was to go grab my breastplate and head back to the smithy.
Okay. Okay. You're able to tuck your breastplate kind of like in a bag to, not be walking around with it. It's not that armor is that uncommon, it's just the style and the heraldry of the armor that you wear is. And also given what people know about you based on your bounty poster, best to keep it covered.
I'd be sure to take off the any cloth that was on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, that's not gonna, you know, make it not distinct, but I don't know,
Yeah.
just for complications.
Yeah. As you go back to Jameson's smithy, as you round in and you see the husband Hughes still hard at work. Oh, I didn't expect to see you back so soon. What can I do for you?
Well, came with the money.
Excellent. Yeah. I can get to work on it right away. If you'd like me to. And he sort of clears out a bench next to his anvil. Go ahead and set it down, and I can get to work on it.
Yeah, no, go ahead and sit down, like hand over the money.
Oh well, you don't have to pay all at once. I would have taken half up front and half on the back end, but I appreciate it. And he
Nah,
sort of pockets it.
I trust you, and you mentioned the other work, kind of. I got a breastplate that could use some fixing.
All right. Let me see it.
Hand it over.
This has definitely seen better days. Few dents and nicks. It looks like the structural integrity of it may be starting to fail here, and he kind of points towards a crack in the shoulder. I could probably fix this up. Since it's not using any sort of rare material like silver, it won't be as expensive as the sword either.
Mm.
Probably cobble this back together for $20.
All right, well, that's all I got left.
Well, that'll work out for me as long as it works out for you. It may not be pretty. I'm gonna have to put some banding on this crack here, because there's no way other than straight up reforging it. I can sort of solder some onto it, but it won't hold as well. If you still want your aesthetics, that's fine, but I feel it would be better to just full on bar it.
Do whatever you think will hold best. I wouldn't
Alright.
want a bullet to come through.
Fair enough. I can do that. Which one would you prefer to get done first? This is going to take me about a day as well, so you're looking at about 4 days total work. Which one do you want me to knock out first?
I guess go ahead and knock out the breastplate.
All right,
That one takes less time.
I can do that. Should be done tomorrow evening. And he kind of looks at it for a second, sort of tilts his head a little bit. This is good material. Where'd you get this from? This is full wrought steel. I'm used to seeing iron out here.
Well, to be honest, whenever I got into this whole bounty game, I found it on someone who wasn't as lucky.
Oh,
But it's been working for me ever since.
all right. Well, that one is a straight up lie. So give me a
That
persuasion
is
check.
correct.
Mhm.
Alrighty. That is a 3.
Okay. See, that's the thing about this lie, right? You're like, you went with the brutal honesty, like, yeah, I took this off of a dead body, but that's not true. But it's like, what is worse than taking off a dead body? I don't know. So it's more confused than anything. As he kind of
Mhm.
looks at you. Oh, all right. I mean, whatever you say. But I'll put it together. Try to make sure I use the best materials I got to match the quality of what you have here, and it should be ready soon. Um, and he just kind of looks at it for a little bit, looks at you. Never mind. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's everything I could ask for.
All right.
And thank you for your help. I really do appreciate this.
You're welcome. I hope that it comes out well. I expect that it will, but this is quality guarantee. If for some reason I mess it up, I promise you'll be reimbursed for it.
Seem like an honest man. I ain't got no reason not to trust you.
Appreciate that. He sort of nods and gets back to work. Mechanically, Chance, obviously, your breastplate was at a -1 because of how damaged it was.
Mm-hmm.
If he fixes this, then it will be returned to you at its full potential again.
Cool. Perfect. Perfect.
All right, and I suppose you guys meet back up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys reconvene outside the blacksmith shop as the other two are walking back. Um, the sun is still high in the sky. It's probably about 1 p.m. as you all meet back up.
Get everything done that we needed.
Well, it's starting to be work time. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens.
Yeah.
I probably need to do some odd jobs here and there. I need to make some money. Some of this northern money, anyways.
Well, we can save as a group for that special rifle for you.
It's a lot of money.
Well, I made back almost all the money I spent on my rifle selling the skull. So there's that.
Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and maybe call it a day, catch up on some rest. Maybe go out, grab a meal. Or if we want, we can start poking around.
Yeah, I think I'd be all right with a rest.
Alright, that sounds good to me. Had a day to tend to our business and then everything that comes afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like we're gonna chill, relax, all cool. Spend the back half of this day with our feet kicked up
Mm-hmm.
before we get back to main quest.
Yep, yep. So we just gonna take us a nappy.
I mean, I figure it's up to whatever people need to do now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I figure Ollie Buck will just, stay at the butcher's shop for most of the day until around maybe dinner time. What are you two feeling?
I'm gonna head back at this moment and just take a couple hour nap since we've been up for actually a good solid while. 'Cause I think we woke up early this morning. Because me and I think this is the same day that we woke up and you were gone, and then we ended up continuing the day and walking into Springfield. So I'm gonna take a nap.
I'll head to
Oh, shit.
I
What
guess that leather worker and try to find like an odd job. See if I can like help him like move leather or something. I don't know.
Austin, did I just invite you to something?
Yes.
Go ahead and ignore whatever I just invited you to, please.
Sounds good.
I was trying to turn your volume up and it pulled me into that menu. Which one was it, by the way?
Something of 10-year.
10 year. Treasure?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and ignore that.
Ah, the toe.
It was like invite Austin to a Discord, and I was like, man, I got a bunch of weird animation Discords that
Hentai explosion.
not that one.
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear about this guy who used to work at Blizzard's Discord, which is we called it his name, Little Boys. That was us.
Yes. Yes.
I love those
But
boys.
Willie, give me a persuasion check to see if you can find find an odd job worth doing with that leather worker.
All right. All right. I got a 11.
Okay. He does have an odd job for you. You walk in, and he lets you know that, in order to tan leather, you do need a little bit of time. You do need heat. And he has a bit of a small furnace that he uses in the back of his shop that he needs wood chop for, and he hasn't been able to do it for a while. So he puts you to work chopping wood. He will pay you $1 for doing so.
Okay. I can get my $1.
$1 is a good wage for a day's work.
Yeah. In a month.
Hey, look, that ain't adventuring money. You're out here looking for adventuring money. You don't find that by doing odd jobs, super cheap. You gotta shoot motherfuckers for that kind of money.
Yeah, I think I need to go like after doing that. I realized this ain't the work for me. I go take a nap and I plan out a probably a hunting trip.
Okay, okay. That's getting planned out. And you all spend your various times pretty much just sleeping.
Oh, that is a child. I'll
Um,
be right back.
pop, pop.
Yeah, I figured it'd be safe just to have day one settle affairs
Mm-hmm.
after that investigation.
By the end of our endeavor, maybe I can get that shotty.
The
Hopefully by the
shoddy.
end of this endeavor, you can get a Gatling gun.
I want an upgraded sawed off.
We have to just break into that factory and steal all of their guns and whatever illegal shit they're working on.
Of course. Without causing enough of a ruckus to get the town to explode.
Yes.
Sounds easy to me.
That's what we're gonna have to do, I reckon.
hmm
What?
Nothing. When I was making this town, when I made Jimbo, I was like, all roads will end up leading to this man. I know for certain all roads will end up leading to this man. And they did. Which is good.
He's a good man.
He's a good man. And he's strapped to fuck.
He is. See, that'll probably be my best, is just the NPCs.
I like the characters. I like the leather worker.
I say Leatherworker, Jimbo.
Sorry about that. I'm
Hughes.
back.
Alright, you're back. JP. As you sort of take this nap and you come around, just waking up, the past week you've been feeling off kilter. Ever since that affair in the woods, you personally said it's affected you and you're not feeling up to par, correct?
Mm-hmm.
As you sort of like come awake, you're sort of still left with this feeling of like doubt over your decisions that you made that day and the outcomes and everything that happened. For now, your power points are halved.
Okay. Sounds good. Get out.
As you awake from this rest and it finally clicks to you why you're not feeling 100% there, it's just the weight of this is sort of pulling you down and you feel like you're not operating at your full strength at the moment.
Alrighty.
As you awake or return from whatever things you have the night ahead of you. There are several restaurants, several taverns, saloons, brothels, what have you, all in this town. Many different places of nightlife. Not to mention, other things that may or may not be out there. If you look hard enough, that might find a way to entertain you. So what's the game plan for the evening?
What we feeling, boys? I was thinking maybe grabbing some dinner and just listening,
That works.
but I'm open to ideas in case we're getting frisky.
Yeah, scouting. Scouting first.
Okay. So you're just kind of going somewhere to listen, more or less.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
nothing too high class.
gotcha. So there are several establishments that are sort of let's see here, that are sort of falling into that sort of middle low class sort of places you could stay that have, place to hang out. There is the Ninth Street Tavern, Evans Tap House, the Dusty Trail Hotel, and the Mangy Owl.
Well, shit, I feel like there's only one option there. It's time to get our mange on.
The Mangy Owl is by far the lowest brow of all the places I just listed. It's on the western side of town. It is in a point to where it is one of the only buildings standing on like a block where a burnt out section was. It's like if a corner got burned right where this is right at the edge of where the burn starts, and it's the only building on the block, so it sort of stands alone against a burnt background facing the town. Uh, a bit ramshackle. It's falling apart just a hair. There's a porch out front with like rocking chairs, some of which that are missing arms, and then inside you can just hear a bit of a hootenanny going on. As when you all walk in there is a guy standing on a barrel playing a fiddle, and everyone's just kind of like pounding their hands on the table in rhyme with the beat as people are drinking and sort of laughing to themselves as you walk in. Um, so you guys just getting a drink and trying to listen in on the tea.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see here. Are you guys trying to remain inconspicuous? Are you
God,
trying to
yes.
like Aragorn this, just sit in your
Yeah.
corner with your pipes? All right.
Most
So
certainly.
But with cowboy hats.
first and foremost, everyone give me a stealth check. That being said, uh, Mr. Whitman, you're only at -2 for this, thanks to changing your appearance.
I got a 5.
Okay,
Got a
5.
10.
great. 5. Okay, all around, remaining inconspicuous, not hard, especially in this sort of rabble. Now, the all important thing, if you guys are trying to listen in the local rumor mill, I need a notice check from everyone.
Notice check.
I'm going to use a chip.
I got an 11.
Ooh,
I got a 12.
12 and 11, excellent. Um, you guys tap into some of the local gossip, and you do learn quite a bit of the sort of goings on around town right now. Um, you learn a few things. One, uh, in the you learn about a little bit about Van Zandt Industries, namely, since that is your biggest like point of being here. The biggest like word around town right now is people complaining for the past 8 months or so. Some muscle has kind of been hired by the Van Zandt Industries management that has been sort of strong arming some of the labor around town and doing a little bit of sort of looming over the town in a way that's making people uncomfortable. The Pinkerton Detective Agency has been hired by Van Zandt Industries and have a force here that seems to be monitoring their workforce. Um, you all learn as you hear like one of the fellas wearing a green coat with a hawk on it, sitting at the bar talking to the barkeep as she pours him drinks, talking about burglaries in town that they've been looking into that have been kind of mostly off the sheriff's office radar since they're mostly small things. But several places have been broken into. And mostly food, money, and occasionally weapons are being stolen. But a shopkeep named Earl Monroe, who runs a haberdashery sort of in the southern portion of the town, got injured in the last one. Let's see what else. You hear a lot more rumors about Joanne Puckett, the lady you saw get sentenced to death earlier today by hanging. Um, a lot of still disbelief that she killed her husband, but with that like 11, you also start hearing rumors about the husband more that he actually worked at Van Zandt Industries and had seemed a bit off lately. Uh, very quiet, not speaking much, and it was kind of it was troublesome enough that people are willing to talk about it at the end of both of their lives. It's being brought up, which is interesting. Um, you learn about a current feud going on by two gangs in the the industrial side of town. Uh, a old group of Union cavalrymen that have sort of formed a gang out of a slaughterhouse in the industrial sector have been feuding with a local madam who runs a brothel called the White Violet, and apparently that has become a point of contention in town as people are worried it might soon devolve into like an actual gang war. And then the last real thing you guys hear. Where was it? Oh, you hear that there are two prominent bounty hunters in town. Uh,
That's what
uh,
I need.
two men named Carl and Jacob Solomon, brothers, who are of some infamy for their success in taking people alive. They've made a name for themselves in southern Illinois and northern Kentucky, where they gained a bit of infamy for apprehending a uh, a Confederate slave driver who was trying to steal free slaves essentially out of the North and bring them back into the South. And a very crafty story about them tricking him into a deal, catching him unawares, killing his guards, and then returning him alive back across the border.
Gotcha. All right.
That's not great news.
And you know what? Just to add on to that, just because you got an 11, you also hear rumors about a very big bounty that got posted on a board, about half a week ago, maybe 4 days ago. Some guy named Whitman, out of the Confederacy, apparently killed a bunch of deputies in town with his gang, and burned down part of the town or blew up an inn or some shit like that.
What a bastard.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
real piece of shit.
as in a quiet manner while we're eating. I'm just gonna regurgitate what I saw to the two of them.
And you two, like, you effectively hear, like, you guys are dubbed currently the Whitman gang.
Big sigh. Bigger drink.
Mhm. But that's the rumors you guys hear as you sit there knocking back a few pretty shitty beers. Not gonna lie, the whiskey's better, but that's only because it burns hot enough that you don't really think about what you're drinking. As you all sit there listening to all these rumors.
Oh shit, I guess that points us in the right directions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess hang out there for a few hours until it's time to head on back and start heading for that back door.
Mm-hmm. You guys finish your drinks. Not interacting too much with the folks there, keeping your heads down. You eventually make your way back to the butcher shop and knock on the door. Uh, as you like get there and give it a knock, it takes a few times for him to answer, but eventually he does. And he opens the door. Oh yeah, sorry, I'd already fallen asleep. But yeah, come on in. And he sort of opens and shuts the door. He's like, "What the hell time is it?"
A little late. Not too bad.
Oh, whatever then. Room's still made up. If you still want to take up that supper, there's some. He looks at Mr. Whitman. Stew on the stove still. Probably a little congealed, but it'll eat. Not soup. Stew. It's thicker. As you guys go back into your room and have a sit down, and you're kind of left with your planning of what to do next as the night starts to end, as you all lay down in your beds, pull your sheets up, close your eyes, and drift off, waiting to see what awaits you on the next day. And that's where we're gonna go ahead and end this one.
Good job tonight,
So
boys.
you guys got a couple weeks to plan what you want to do next.
Test out my new gun.
It's a pretty nice gun.
Now that I only have half my powers, I'm gonna have to put the other half into my bullets.
You've got half your power now. You just gotta sort yourself out.
other half's gonna be my bullets.
But yeah. I know this was a shopping session, more or less, which is something we've not done in this campaign so far. But this is the first time you guys have been in Civilization, had the option to actually get anything. So I
I
wanted to make
know.
sure you had the full chance to do so.
Been nice. It was so nice to spend some money.
Yeah.
Because I like that it was like a chill session. Like again, like
Mhm.
we haven't been in this big of a town, and so it's nice just kind of like let's just do shit before like like we have to get back to questing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was the best and worst for everybody? If your worst is that was a shopping session, that is fully okay. A lot of people don't like shopping sessions, and I understand that. But you got to do them every now and then.
No, that wouldn't be my worst.
NPCs.
Your worst was the NPCs?
Yes, NPCs.
Okay.
Namely the leather guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I liked him. I liked his personality.
He appreciates that you like that.
Worst. Can't really do too much because I'm a wanted man.
Yeah.
And
You kind of got your hands tied a little bit.
yeah.
That first roll really fucked you.
Man, that was like astounding.
That was an incredibly unexpectedly high roll against you by you.
But overall, like there wasn't really too much bad. Not because there was like a bunch of stuff, but
Mhm.
just because like there wasn't that much in this session, which is fine because
Mhm.
we haven't had a shopping session, and not every session needs to be balls to the wall.
Mhm.
So it was just like a a neutral session,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, I think my favorite. I don't know if I'll do best worst because yeah, I kind of agree with Daniel. There's really nothing since it was a chill session, and I like having a chill session every once in a while, especially since we're in a way bigger city than we're used to. But I do like my favorite thing was the luck check and seeing like what that did at the beginning, and then at the end when we were perceiving everyone around us talking about it being the Whitman gang. So it just kind of like went throughout the session, which was very nice.
Mhm. Now as far as the world is concerned, John H. Whitman is the leader. He is the mastermind. He is the man in charge.
I'm gonna
This
have
is
to.
fair.
I'll have to buy that man a Gatling gun. We
It's
need,
expensive, but it's a Gatling gun.
we need to go back to that Deadwood and kill another one.
I
We
mean,
got the only one.
Mr. Whitman did say he was planning a hunting trip, and who knows what he might find out there.
Yup, that's what we gotta do.
I'll find 2 bounty hunters.
That's also something that's out there now.
Hey,
Probably carrying some money.
And
Jimbo's.
I'm also
He's crazy enough. He might like a human skull to go next to the boar skull.
Jimbo may have limits. You might want. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna pretend that their job is not significantly easier than it was going to be based off of Daniel rolling a fucking 17 for the skill of the artist that drew his fucking description. Fucking Jackson Pollock painted that shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
It's a bit abstract, but it really captures every feature of Mr. Whitman.
How accurate is it? Perfectly. All right. How'd they draw it? Immaculately.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no two ways around it. Description was great. Execution, incredible. Everyone else is pretty middling. Like, you guys can pass. I absolutely agree with Daniel's decision to try to change his appearance, like, significantly enough by cutting his hair. That's the right fucking call.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Nope, 100%. Did anyone
What about
else?
you?
Hey,
Okay.
You know what I think guest character should be? Bounty.
Yes.
What the bounty?
Bubba really wants to be an antagonist in this. Bubba really wants to just show up
Or-
and just shoot.
Be a donkey.
Or
We
donkey.
did. Yeah, we got Bubba the horse now.
I could be
Bubba the horse.
be the chaotic donkey.
Chaotic donkey.
Dog.
The chaotic donkey is what we'll call him.
Donkey god.
Donkey Kong is what
And
we
I'll
call
have
him.
a rigged up blunderbuss attached to the saddle.
Hits everything on the screen.
It's everything on the screen.
It is what it is.
What about you, Chance? What was your best and worst?
Best. I really liked. Like, I don't know, just going through the session. I knew you were gonna ask Austin to name the horse, and the fact that we just kind of like, oh, it's Bubba. It's like, perfect. And it's flawless execution.
From now on, if I ever need that horse to do anything and Bubba's here, I'm making Bubba roll for it. I just want you guys to know that.
Bubba.
Yes.
That was just a really good moment at the table. Yeah, the deciding how the wanted posters looked was really fun. Because I never would have thought of that. And then, yeah, I really like the NPCs, like talking to the butcher and then all the shopkeeps. And of course, Jimbo. And getting to see the
Jimbo.
epic loots.
There's epic loot out there. I needed people to know that the One Piece is real.
Mm-hmm.
I would have bought a whole bunch of grenades had I not have to repair my shit.
I knew that those grenades were something I could just dangle in front of you all, and the fact that they're actually affordable just makes it so much better.
I thought the boys were gonna trade the skull in for the bolt launcher and then actually pay for the damn briefcase full of grenades.
Ooh, also, while I'm thinking about it, just so you guys are fully informed, I gave you the stats on everything else. Special ammo. Now I'm thinking about it. Full metal jacket ammo, heavy thing.